Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Inbound comes to Tatum. The Mavericks will not foul. Jason Tatum, who carried the Celtics the entire first half, will dribble out the clock. And for the first time since 1959, the Boston Celtics have a 3-0 lead in the NBA Finals.
Celtics radio, and this thing is over. Over. Celtics.
Don't tell Commissioner Adam Silver that. He's like, yeah, maybe win one game, get me some ratings here.
No. 0-156 for teams who are down 0-3. Welcome to the show, by the way. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. I know Celtics almost came back on the Heat last year in the Eastern Conference Finals. It's not happening. And it's not happening. The Celtics are playing amazing, right? There was a moment last night, though, Pearl, where they allow they go on a 22-2 run, the Mavs do, against the Celtics. And you thought, all right, here comes the Mavs making this incredible run in the fourth quarter, and they're going to make this a series. And the whole tide's going to change, and we're going to be talking about Luka and Kyrie with this great game. And then Luka Doncic fouled out. And he fouled out with about 4 minutes and 12 seconds left to go in the game. And as much as Kyrie Irving can try to carry the load there, the Celtics are too good defensively. And Luka is going to get blamed for this game. And I think that's right. He should get blamed for this game. He completely lost his composure out there. Completely.
Oh, wait. On that last foul, completely lost his composure?
The last two fouls. The last foul wasn't losing his composure, but he was out of his head the whole night. He had 27 points on 27 shots. He was not efficient. This was not the, on the court, both basketball and mentality-wise, he was not the leader last night in a game that I just read you the stat, 0-156. That was as close to a must-win game that's not an elimination game that you can possibly have in this sport.
You could talk to me about his defense, which is terrible. And I don't understand how nobody in the West figured that out. But you can't talk to me about leadership and things like that. He's the only guy, last night he was a +9 where everybody else on the team, except for one player, was minus. The runs happened when he wasn't out there. So I'm blaming his teammates. I think the problem is not his complaining. The problem is not his attitude at all. It's the fact that there's no one to throw the ball to who can score the basket except for Kyrie. And Kyrie, a bit limited as well. I think that the guys around him stink. If you get a better team and they figure out how everybody can contribute, they're going to win a title, and no one's going to care about Luka complaining. Because all the greats complain. You don't think Kobe Bryant was whining? You don't think Tim Duncan whined every single play? This is what great players do. So I don't think the reason they lost is because of Luka complaining. I think it's a lack of talent from top to bottom on this roster.
Okay, but the talent was good enough to get them through this ridiculous Western Conference, right? And I know your point, which is why weren't they trying to steal the ball from Luka? What was the game plan here, especially from the Timberwolves, that, kind of allowed the Mavericks to have this, sort of quote unquote, that was kind of an easy Western Conference.
I think it was the matchup. If they got the T-Wolves, if the Nuggets had faced the Mavericks in the Western Conference Final, the Nuggets would be going up against Boston right now. It'd be a much more interesting series.
I will agree with you.
So I think it sort of worked out great. Dallas is not designed to play Boston. I think this is a case of matchups. Boston has so many guys they can throw at Luka. No wonder he's frustrated, right?
He should be frustrated, but this is what the all-time great players, you're talking about Kobe, you're talking about Tim Duncan, the famous complainers, to a lesser extent of Rasheed Wallace or someone like that, the people who just couldn't stop jawing at the officials. Those guys, especially for Kobe and Duncan, it didn't take them out of their game, right? It didn't make them inefficient. It didn't permeate to their teammates too, where I don't think Luke is setting a great tone here. I don't, because he's consistently complaining. I mean, and we've known this, and they have gotten this far with him just being a thorn in the side of the referees. But I think last night you're up against a way better opponent, and you're up against a this new officiating, which is so haphazard, you're not going to be able to figure it out. And complaining more and more is clearly not helping. And again, this was as close to a must-win as you possibly can get in this sport without it being an elimination game. And Luka fouled out with 4 minutes and 12 seconds left. That's just, it's irresponsible for a star because some of those fouls were super cheap.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I honestly, it just was not consistent. So I felt like the Celtics were hanging all over Luka, hitting him every time down. Like normally I'm like, oh, what are you whining about, Luka? Last night I understood it.
Yeah.
I felt like they were hitting him on shots. He missed a lot of bunnies, but like, of course he missed them. They were hitting his arm. So I thought he had a right to complain last night. I know no one's going to like that thing. But I hate to say it because I've been saying he's been faking the knee injury all along. Is it possible that the reason he gets less efficient, not because he's out of his head because he's officiating, is it possible that painkiller is wearing off and he's just physically wearing out more than mentally? Because his shots, he's starting out on fire every game.
Yeah.
And then
hit his first 5 of 7 shots, and then was 6 of 20 the rest of the way.
Right. I wonder if it's the physical ailments more than mentally taking out, where I think a lot of people thought last night it's the complaining. But if he had his legs underneath him, would he have been better off?
It's an interesting point because we've struggled with this Luka injury report.
Yeah.
Because he looks great on offense. So what's going on? It's like, oh, the knee only kicks in when you're on defense, but on offense you feel awesome. So I've been the one who's also been like, no, he's hurt. I don't even know what to do with this. Like, Porzingis was out last night. He actually is hurt. Or maybe they were just sort of trying to save him a little bit if they need him for the closeout game on Friday. But that's hurt. I don't know what Luka is. Either he's being the biggest warrior of all time and playing through this ridiculous injury, or he's allowing it to kind of get to his head where he feels it more on defense than on offense.
Well, he missed a lot of short shots on it last night. I think a lot of that was fatigue. Like he's really efficient around the basket. Last night he was not. By the way, he ended up with 27 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. And if he'd played the last 4 minutes, would have been over 30.
But it wasn't efficient.
It wasn't. Yes, it was not efficient. But I think in some ways, like Kyrie Irving had a big night last 35. But he had 2 assists. So, like, is that efficient? And he took 28 shots as well. At least Luka, when he has the ball, like he gets other people open because everyone's focused on him. So, yes, his shooting was not efficient. But still, when he's on there, the offense is way more potent. You saw when he got fouled out, the game was basically over.
Yeah, I mean, Kyrie tried. He did try, hit a couple shots, but then miss like the signature 3-pointer with like Al Horford on him. So
I thought Al Horford was dead man walking on that play.
Definitely.
And it went in and out. I was like, oh, Al is breathing a sigh of relief after that.
Let's hear from Luka Doncic. This is the Maverick star on fouling out.
We couldn't play physical, so I don't know. I don't want to say nothing, but 6 foul in the NBA Finals, where basically I'm like this. Come on, man. Better than that.
Listen.
Wait, is he talking to himself?
I think he's talking about the officials.
Oh.
You're better than that?
He was talking about the 6th foul in specific there. But, Luka is pretty good at press conferences. He always takes the blame. He's like, it's on me, it's on me, it's on me. But see, I don't think he knows all that much English. He doesn't get into intricacies. He only has like 3-minute answers. Like, he's pretty good at this. Last night he let out a little frustration. He's worse during the game. He's screaming in Slovenian at the officials.
I don't know if that's Slovenian. I think that might be English. It'd be smarter to scream in Slovenian. So the thing about that 6th foul, so he picks up 4 fouls in the 4th quarter. Now, mind you, this is 4 fouls in the 4th quarter when the Mavs were on a run. They were on a 22-2 run, and he was still picking up fouls, but it was the early ones that kind of haunted him because he picked up 2. One of them was this sort of clear, only frustration hacking foul on Al Horford, and you don't think of anything of it at the time, and then obviously it comes back to bite you. Can we hear more from on this? Here's Jason Kidd, Mavericks head coach, on Luka's 6th foul.
I was stuck. I had to challenge it. So I had to challenge because it was, a close call, but the referee called it a foul. You got to move on, move forward.
Yeah, I mean, it was close. It was a block foul that he didn't have his feet set. I mean, is it close? It was definitely close. Did he have his feet set? No. Nobody would have said he had his feet set.
Yeah, but Jaylen Brown just fully threw his arm at full strength into Luka's body. If Jaylen Brown didn't fall, there's no way they even call anything. Which is it's like an NFL holding penalty. When the guy falls, you have to blow the whistle. That was a tough call. I mean, I know Luka's getting killed for that. That one, to me, that was a bang-bang play. Could have gone either way. I'm not destroying. At least he was trying on defense. Wait, were we going to rip him for not trying all game? Then he actually tries to make a play, and we're killing him?
That's like kind of the weird timing of the whole thing. It's like you have 5 fouls. You just picked up your 5th 25 seconds ago. So now to attempt a risky defensive play when you're the most important offensive player on the floor, again, it's just not smart. And
so you're saying he should have stayed out of that play
well,
altogether?
He's been staying out of it the whole time. Now you're going to try to make a risky play?
I just felt like he just happened to land in the same place where Jaylen Brown was driving, and Jaylen Brown threw himself into it. I'm not going to kill Luka for that penalty.
I thought it was more egregious, actually, the next penalty they called after Luka had already fouled out, where they called a moving screen on P.J. Washington. It's like, my gosh, guys, what are we doing? And Jason Kidd didn't have another challenge because he had wasted it.
I don't think they would have given him that challenge, too. But why call that moving screen when there are 400 moving screens a game? It was exactly like Miles Turner in the Indianapolis, New York series.
Yeah.
The officials are definitely inconsistent right now. They definitely didn't determine the outcome, but I'm not sure what they're doing exactly. Like, this is 3 finals games where Dallas hasn't reached 100 points. So maybe they've overswung on letting them play defense, because there was a play. Even Doris and JJ are not official complainers. Jeff Van Gundy was the guy.
Yeah, right.
But even last night, Doris was like, that's a clear foul. What are they doing? That's a clear foul. What are they doing? Like, Jason Tatum went up for a dunk, and it almost looked like an intentional foul. They're like, no blood, no foul.
There was like literally an intentional foul that they didn't call with Derek White on Tim Hardaway Jr. as he's attempting a 3-pointer, and Derek White puts both hands on Hardaway. I believe it's Hardaway, right? But both hands on Hardaway, and then looks at the official who's standing right there and is like, "Are you going to blow the whistle or not?" It's a mess. I know that Pete doesn't like this when Perloff and I come in the day after a big game and complain about the officials. I understand, but you don't think they were great last night, right?
No, but come on.
Yeah, no, you're right. They didn't determine the outcome. I agree with that.
It's
Well,
3-0.
did they determine the outcome? Luka Doncic fouling out of this game, and I think it's Luka's fault, but that certainly helped determine the outcome. The Mavs were killing it in the fourth quarter. They were awesome in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but I feel like Boston had another run in them. I'm not sure Luka being on the court, because all of a sudden Jaylen Brown's like, oh, I have to score some points here. Boston is not going to continue at a 1-for-11 pace. And at some point, they were going to score some baskets. They went a long time without doing anything.
No, I know, but at least they were playing well defensively. But they had a couple turnovers that were bad. Didn't it creep into your mind in that fourth quarter? The Mavs are on their runs, like, oh, well, here comes the Boston collapse. Here comes, Boston thing. And to Boston's credit, this is not 2 years ago. And this has not looked anything like 2 years ago when they lost in the finals to the Warriors, and they looked like the team that was not prepared. They couldn't get inbounds passes in. They had turnovers. It was awful. This is not that team, and they've done a great job in terms of like turning the tide. They're going to win this title and silencing all the critics, people like me. So good for them.
Yeah, and also too, this coach Joe Mazzulla, he's an
odd bird,
odd duck,
dude.
but man,
Yeah.
he's got the answers. They are a button-down defensive team. Like, I think he's got a job for life now. This is a tour de force of coaching, because there's nowhere for Dallas to go offensively, and I credit the coaching.
Okay, you are welcome to weigh in on this game we saw last night. And is Luka at fault? Was this loss Luka's fault? And Ryan, if we can throw that up on the X account, that'd be lovely, at Maggie and Pearl. 855-212-4227 was last night Luka's fault. And they're going to lose now. I mean, this team does not look like it's going to become the all-time team to make history, right?
Well, even if say they had come back and won that game last night, then it's in Boston's head. But Boston probably has Porzingis coming back if they want. Not having Porzingis last night was not ideal, because you could see Horford wear down. What was the deal with Horford dribbling down the court?
He's just like getting it back like across the timeline so fast. It's like
yeah. So he had 2 turnovers. Once he walked, once he fell out of bounds with the ball in his hand.
Yeah, they barely called. They didn't call anything there. Oh no, they did call. They called incidental contact.
Well, they said incidental contact. Then they changed it out of bounds on Horford. Horford lost his mind. He just wears down in the fourth quarter, and like he's a little erratic. Missed a couple threes, but I don't know how we
played the good defense on Kyrie.
Yeah, how do we get to Horford anyway?
Porzingis being out.
Oh, right. So I think Boston, if they want to, could bring Porzingis back and put the hammer down. Now, do you just sit him for game 4? Think long term.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because it's over. You're right. No one ever comes back from 3-0. And the fact that Luka is physically hurting, there's no way this is happening.
Is last night Luka's fault? Benny says Perloff's off the Luka bandwagon. Are you off?
No. I'm sort of defending Luka today. I think he's 25. The team's never been there before. The supporting cast is who I blame. And it's obvious. I mean, who else is scoring anything other than Luka and Kyrie?
855-212-4227. You are welcome to weigh in there. We say good morning to our Infinity Sports Network affiliates who we absolutely love. We think about you guys all the time. How do we get better for you? The free Odyssey app is a great way to listen to the show. Also, SiriusXM channel 158. If you want to watch the show, join the Weedos and the coffee drinkers in the chat. It's a great place to hang out. YouTube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, Twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network. Okay, we got finals on tap for you. We've got football on tap for you. We also have maybe one of the most brilliant yet most lowbrow moments that we're going to have as a society. It's going to be brought to us in the matter of weeks. You're going to watch it. You're going to be grossed out by it. What could I possibly be talking about? You'll hear it on the other side. Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Come playoff time?
Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining.
Looks into clouds, scoring the beat, by which he did a thing.
1 minute remaining.
Ella de Cruz.
45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This portion of the show is sponsored by the all-new Hyundai 2024 Santa Fe, equipped for adventure with capable features like available H-Track all-wheel drive and standard third-row seating. Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. The debate is, did Luka Doncic cost the Mavs the game last night? The complaining, the 6 fouls, the inefficient shooting. Yeah. Still, he was +9, where nobody else was anywhere near that for the Mavericks, in part because he was on the court when the runs happened for the Mavs, and he was not on the court when the Celtics had their crazy run. Game of runs last night. It looked like it was over. Then it was like 3 games in 1. Then Dallas came back, and then Jaylen Brown, I think Jaylen Brown's going to win the MVP now. He seems like a strong frontrunner. It was Drew Holiday. Now it's Jaylen Brown. I don't know what the heck I was doing picking the Mavs in 6. I was fooled by the Western Conference playoffs. I was hoodwinked by this.
Well, it's not just you. I mean, wasn't it something like 85% of the public money came in on the Mavericks?
Yeah, most of the ESPN, I saw more experts pick the Mavs. I think everyone thought, oh my gosh, 2 minutes left. Luka's on one side, Tatum's on the other. Yeah, we forgot about the rest of the roster on Boston.
Well, the other thing, too, I think we all had, or people who picked the Mavs, had 2 years ago in your head. It was almost like the Celtics were like they were a victim of their own success. The fact that they had gotten to the finals and failed on that big stage, nobody trusted them. Meanwhile, here come the Mavericks. They're the hot team. They were playing and gelling at the right time and all of that. And this idea, and I know Stan Van Gundy knows more basketball, Perloff, than you and I, but the idea that Kyrie and Luka are the best scoring backcourt of all time, I mean, that feels very premature.
Yeah, I mean, listen, their defense is the problem. And I just don't understand, how come Boston's the first team that's ever been able to exploit them? Like, they just walk by Luka like he's not even there.
Well, because they only play basically one-on-one. At one point, like, they will not help off of Luka to leave an open player. And that's because they're so good defensively. So they don't feel like they have to help.
Right. But on the other side, why is Luka always involved in the defensive side? Like, why?
Oh, because they're running everything like right at him.
Yeah, but why did Minnesota do that?
Well, who knows? I
remember Luka was just sort of standing in the corner all alone, resting on defense. And now Luka's always at the top of the key, watching Jason Tatum go right past him. And then everyone's scrambling to make up for him. So, I mean, obviously, the key is exploit him on defense. And Kyrie a little bit, too. Kyrie's not exactly a defensive whiz. So, I'm not sure where Dallas goes from this, but
do you think they're ever going to win a title?
I'm not sure they ever win a title because they have no roster moves. There's no third star coming. They're already tapped out money wise, and Kyrie's getting a little older, so there's a window here, right?
Where Kyrie's still good. The defense has never been his.
So you're talking about 2 or 3 years though, and without a third guy to come along. Is this roster good enough to get all the way? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I feel like I've learned the lesson of the NBA and roster construction, and you never know, because I watched maybe a move that your boy Joel Embiid even put out on Twitter last night. Did the Milwaukee Bucks hand the Celtics a championship?
Oh, by giving Drew?
Exactly, because Dame Lillard wanted out of Portland so badly, wanted to go to Miami. They wouldn't do that. He goes to Milwaukee. They put him in a trade to Portland, Drew Holiday, that is. And then Holiday ends up getting released and signs with Boston or whatever, he got traded for Boston. So
Yeah, but you're waiting on a mystery move, and Dallas is in the West, which is loaded, and there's a new finals matchup every year. So I'm not sure what it just as easily could be Minnesota or Oklahoma City or Memphis, or there's 7 other teams, or Denver coming up on them, and you're counting on some Drew Holiday move, but that's very speculative.
No, I'm just saying the NBA is the place where the craziest roster stuff happens, and you never know what the domino is going to be, because Boston was not getting Drew Holiday. If Dame Lillard doesn't want out of Portland, it's all so you got to follow the breadcrumbs, and look at what happened. This could have been the championship ceiling move for Boston.
Yeah, I mean, but they would have had Marcus Smart or somebody. I mean, they would have had someone else like that.
Yeah, and how'd he do away from Boston?
Yeah, no, but he was effective in that role. I'm just saying, I'm not sure. Dallas has no cap space whatsoever, and they're not going to get any, and they just don't have anybody else. I mean, Tim Hardaway Jr. is a mystery. I mean, he's nothing left there. And I thought these two centers were great, and Lively actually played pretty well last night. But
he's 20 years old. He's a rookie. I mean, you have to think maybe they'll grow together.
Maybe he'll grow. I'm just not sure. It does feel like the NBA, it's a new team every year. And maybe this was Dallas's shot, but they just don't have it. I mean, how many points did they get from guys who were not Luka or Kyrie last night? I can't do the math, but it's got to be 30.
Well, I mean, you could see that Jason Kidd was feeling desperate when he had 11 different players take the court in the first quarter, I believe. I mean, they were really searching for something.
Definitely.
So. All right, you're welcome to weigh in. The question of the day was the loss last night Luka's fault? I say yes. Perloff says no. You can go vote at Maggie and Pearl on X. Bogusch is here. Are we leading with the hot dog thing, or is it going to be story number 2 or 3? I'm not trying to tell you how to do your updates or anything, but...
well, no, you should tell me how to do my update because I don't have it in my update because it's on your
It's on our roster, I know. So you wouldn't have it. That's right.
So you guys do it however you want.
I feel like this is a big story. Yesterday, we brought you I'm being serious. Yesterday, we brought you the story of Joey Chestnut, the champion eater.
Right.
And how he's not going to be performing at the Nathan's 4th of July hot dog eating contest because of a dispute now that he's repping a different brand. Well, everyone here is playing 3D chess because this is all just a setup for what was the real knockout punch. The announcement yesterday that Chestnut and Kobayashi are going to go head-to-head live on Netflix on Labor Day to settle, Perloff, who is the greatest hot dog eater of all time.
Yeah, I'm out.
Out?
I'm so in. You guys can keep your Tyson, whatever fight that nonsense is. Give me this as soon as possible.
I don't know. Do you watch the July 4th thing, Bogusch?
Yes.
Oh, I don't watch that. I will watch this. The Kobayashi Joey Chestnut, guys, this is Magic and Bird. I mean,
it kind of feels like when Phil
good versus evil.
Who cares?
Like Phil and Tiger would break off and do a primetime special on TNT instead of a tournament.
Yeah, in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, it was so weak. I don't know. I'm not. Why don't they just both do the big hot dog eating contest?
Well, Kobayashi is banned.
I thought he retired.
He's retiring after this. Yeah, sorry, Pete.
Because they're not getting paid. That's why.
I don't know what the payment situation was, but Kobayashi's been banned for that since 2009.
Yeah. What? Oh, I didn't know that. Sorry. Why was he banned? Is that like a performance enhancing drug?
I think that was also over a business thing,
It was a business thing, and then he tried to crash it.
Right.
And he went past security and started just grabbing at hot dogs and stuff, and they had to haul him out. This is a low moment.
There's no drama like hot dog drama. I mean, this is unbelievable. Because also we had, in the middle of this yesterday, we had Chestnut saying he wanted to be in Coney Island on the 4th, hoping we can figure this out. They're wrong here. This is not something I should be punished for. And then dinner time comes, and here's this announcement of these two fools eating hot dogs on Labor Day.
Fraudulent.
Let's go. Let's go.
Ryan, you're in or out?
He retired, Kobayashi.
It's
literally
hot dogs.
3 weeks ago.
You can't retire.
He retired 4 weeks ago.
You can't retire from eating.
He
your problem is that he
hunger.
Your problem is he announced his retirement. He's coming back boxer style. That's your problem, right?
Yes.
Did you have a problem with Tom Brady also coming back out of his
100%.
retirement?
It's all ego. And money.
Same.
Kobayashi retiring, Brady retiring, coming back. I'm in. I am so in. Because you got to see, anytime, what draws us to this profession in general and to sports, even as fans, the best on the best. Like the rivalries, the top of the line, the top of the food chain, no pun intended. these two guys. They're the two names in eating.
We only care because it's July 4th. If it was any other day, it's just two weirdos eating hot dogs.
This is going to happen on Labor Day.
Well, they snuck it in Labor Day before the NFL season started, but they will have a little college football probably to compete with.
Anyone that sits down at their TV to watch two people eat hot dogs is a true
loser.
Oh, really? You want to go down this road?
Yes,
the guy who travels and takes days off to watch grown men in tights tumble around in predetermined arrangements. I can't watch hot dogs for 7 minutes on Netflix on Labor Day?
Listen, Mr. Dave Matthews, who wears all these wristbands and
grasping at
whatnot.
straws.
Give me a break.
Tom Glavine's brain.
Guys eat hot dogs. Get lost.
Okay, you're watching guys bang hot dogs in their tights in a wrestling ring.
That's not true. That's not true.
Whoa.
Come on.
I am not watching people eat hot dogs.
You cannot throw elbows like this when you take
That's
off
ridiculous.
days because you're tired from watching SummerSlam.
I will take WWE over hot dogs any day of the week. Give me a break.
Here's the crazy thing. My assumption
You're a
is
loser.
This is actual competition. Someone's going to eat more hot dogs than the other in the moment. They have not decided today in Stamford, Connecticut that Kobayashi is going to win on Labor Day.
Who cares about this?
I care. Sports cares.
Go get lost. Just go sit there on Labor Day. The only guy sitting there at his TV set.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be alone.
People eat hot dogs. It's just so pathetic.
And you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to bet on one of them. Unlike you, who declares Tyson a guaranteed win, but I'm not going to put 75 cents on it.
Bet on people eating hot dogs. That's a loser right there.
I don't have full trust that the hot dog guys aren't throwing the match, by the way. I'm not so sure that's not predetermined, but anyway.
Man, I feel like we just witnessed round 3 of a 10-round fight. Did this thing start before we got on the air?
It started years before.
Wow. Well, luckily you can watch both things on Netflix because Netflix bought WWE's Raw and they have the hot dog eating contest.
And Tyson, whatever that
and Tyson
guy's
Paul,
name is. Paul, that's what
and they are our new overlords.
Tyson Ball, which Maggie rightly claimed will never, ever happen.
We're going to be on Kobayashi Chestnut round 10 before.
I saw they moved the Tyson Paul fight. It's like, we're not doing it in Vegas because Tyson is not healthy. We're going to do it in the Dallas Stadium now.
No, it's always been Dallas.
Oh,
yeah. They changed the date because he's not healthy as well.
It's always been Dallas. Oh, well.
It's always been Dallas.
I'm with Pete then.
The venue change is what did it for you. Wow. All right. Well, tell us how you really feel, guys.
Stupid.
Waste.
I feel great.
It's funny. We should do a live stream watching the hot dogs.
The 10 minutes of they're going to be eating hot dogs?
Yeah, that sounds great.
There's another dog and another dog.
That's another thing about it. It's not a huge time commitment, which I appreciate. What else is...
Yes. I don't mean to interrupt. But
yes, you do.
I do, actually. I actually don't mind hot dog eating contests.
No. Do not back away from this.
Listen to me. I don't like these guys.
Don't walk
it's
this
these
back.
guys.
I don't like these guys at all.
Okay.
Either. So, if it's all of us eating hot dogs, that's fun. But I'm not going to sit there and watch these guys and waste my time. Eat hot dogs.
I just have a question for you. How do you have an opinion on either of these guys?
Well, we can go down the road of Mr. Chestnut.
Yeah, Joey Chestnut is not a likable figure in these network walls. I don't know what your Kobayashi issue is.
I just guilty by association.
Oh.
But he was the guy before Chestnut. Like he's your knight in shining armor.
Also your enemy of your enemy, right?
Okay, you know what? I like Kobayashi. All right. Okay. All right. I take that back. About Kobayashi.
He faked his
about
retirement.
Chestnut.
You can't do that.
Can I tell you, I've met both of these guys. They were fine to me. Kobayashi doesn't speak English, so you're going through the translator, but he showed up to Sports Illustrated, Kobayashi, to do a food eating contest. He was actually drinking gallons of milk against somebody.
Right. Is that physically possible?
Entertaining right there.
I never thought I'd see it. He drank like the big gallon of milk in like 15 minutes or something. It was sick. We have the video somewhere. And
like I said before, make it a real competitive eating contest. Eat burritos. Eat something that you cannot.
He'll do that. They eat shark's fin. He'll eat whatever you want.
Okay.
But he walked in and he was wearing this interesting costume. I think maybe something might have been lost in translation or something about style in Japan versus America, because he had a little marionette that had a little dog on the end of it, like a stuffed animal dog, and he was like walking it into the office.
There you go, Netflix Labor Day.
I was like, I wonder if this is like what people are doing in Japan. Is this like a cool thing? You have a little dog
puppet dog
on a marionette?
That's weird.
Anywho,
That's our
Left an
guy.
impression.
Tune in.
That's our guy.
But
That's good
Chestnut
versus
was
evil.
fine with us. We had him in. You guys don't like him?
Nope.
No, he came in one time promising to eat hot dogs, and then got here and wouldn't, and was a jerk about it. So he's out.
Okay.
Yeah, he's banned from here.
Is that right?
Yeah, before Coney Island got to him, we got to him.
Well, I've got some bad news for you in the 9 o'clock hour. No, just kidding. What else is going on today?
Headlines are all sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your home and auto. Save when you bundle. Get a quote at progressive.com.
Loser.
Emmitt Smith, Patrick Mahomes, Steve Nash, they all loved it. The Mavericks storming back from a 91-70 hole early in the fourth quarter of Game 3 of the Finals.
Lively comes out, sets the high screen. Kyrie, right-hand dribble, pulls up, elbow jumper, got it. 93-92. The 21-point Boston lead is down to 1.
Sean Grandy hanging on Celtics radio. Boston, though, didn't let Dallas come all the way back, securing a 106-99 W and a 3-0 series lead. Jason Tatum on Survive It.
It's never going to go how you expect it, and we talk about that all the time. But if you want to be a champion, you have to be resilient in those moments, and we showed that tonight.
Tatum scored 31, 30 plus 8 rebounds and 8 assists for Jaylen Brown. Half of his points came in the third when the Celtics outscored the Mavs 35-19, leading to that 21-point lead early in the fourth. No team has rallied from an 0-3 hole in NBA history. Here's Kyrie, as usual, even-keeled in a big moment.
This is a metaphor here, so just be ready. Just go home, get the ammo ready, get the bazooka, get the 50 cal ready, get everything ready, because it's when we come into Game 4, we know that we got to shoot our gun, we got to shoot our shots.
Shoot your guns, bazookas,
Yeah.
whatever you
Thrilling
got.
metaphor.
1, 2, 3 Tahiti.
Oh, gosh.
Irving did have his best game of the series last night, 35 points, 13-28 shooting, but he could not lead the Mavs to that win after Luka fouled out with 4:12 to go. Doncic scored 27, only 10, though, in the second half. He had just 1-3 in the game. Game 4 still in Dallas tomorrow night.
Are you going to read Sam Hauser's line?
Not yet, but it's coming.
Oh,
What a game.
Oh, he's a hero.
He and Xavier Tillman drinking for life.
Xavier
I know.
Tillman.
How about that?
Oh,
Deadline
my
deal.
God.
Wasn't even on the team.
Can you imagine breaking out in a finals game? How awesome that must feel for Xavier Tillman today.
To hit a 3?
That 3 was the craziest 3. That was like the 3 heard around the world. The bench exploded. It was great.
And how about before that, just being asked to guard Luka Doncic in like the deciding quarter of the NBA Finals?
Amazing.
No Porzingis, all hands on deck.
U.S. men's soccer, a 1-1 draw with Brazil in Orlando last night, 4 nights after a 5-1 drubbing from Colombia in their first tune-up for Copa America. That event begins on the 23rd with a match with Bolivia. Christian Pulisic scored the equalizer last night off a free kick in the 26th minute. The Atlanta Braves on their first 5-game losing streak since 2017 after a 4-2 defeat in Baltimore last night. Their manager, Brian Snitker.
You go through stretches where it doesn't go your way. That's just the way this game is, and nobody likes it. Nobody's happy about it, but what are you going to do? I mean, you come back the next day and you keep fighting.
The Braves
thoroughly happy about it.
Just 35-30, but the
do not count them out. They will reform and kill both of our teams.
Oh, yeah. Right after I said that, they're going to go on a 17-game winning streak.
Some guy I've never heard of is going to end up hitting 48 homers this year for them. They are ridiculous. I hate that team because they will not get bad.
It's nice of you to think that they have to kill the Mets, but the Mets will handle that on their own. But this is not just a 5-game losing streak. They've scored the fewest runs in baseball since the end of April. And Acuna's out for the season.
They're still 35-30.
Yeah, but for that, I mean, again, this is their first 5 games in 7 years, showing how good they are. But they have issues. They have legit issues.
A lot of the regulars aren't playing well. Look at Austin Riley.
Yeah, look at Austin Riley.
Yeah, what about Austin Riley?
Look at him.
He's not playing well.
I will look at him.
That's him over there not getting hits.
That was like a game of telephone. Austin Riley. Like, I'm going to pass the ball back to you. Look at Austin Riley.
I'm just saying, Bogusch, if you're not going to use these updates to emotionally hedge for your own teams, then what are you doing here? You can't come out here and say the Braves are struggling. They're going to win the next 12 games after you do that.
They're not. And the Mets are terrible. I got nothing on the Mets. I'd love to will them to something, but they don't have the talent to let my good mojo work.
Also, what do you think these updates are? Like Pravda? He's kind of just give us the news.
No. But there's certain things like if you laugh at the Braves being down, I'm telling you that's a mistake.
I didn't.
Mistake.
Listen, I thought about writing a sarcastic thing, but I didn't. I just wrote the facts.
That's like saying the Baltimore Ravens defense is not going to be good. Certain things in sports are just realities that never change. And the Braves being awesome is one of them. And then postseason, not so much, but.
See, now who's poking the bear?
Last thing from me, the Chicago Sky took an 83-75 home loss from the Sun. Angel Reese did have her fourth double-double in a row with 20 points and 10 boards. Guys, back to you.
Bogusch, thanks so much. Coming up, who stole the show from the GOAT last night? We'll tell you next. It's Maggie Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Here at Sports Illustrated, it's not rare that champions roam our hallways. But today, we welcome a master of a different sort. His name is Kobayashi, and he's here today for 2
4 minutes, 30 seconds
Number
remaining.
1, we'll put 1 minute on the clock to see how many hard-boiled eggs Kobayashi can eat. Ready, get set, go. We're at the midway point. Seconds to go. Come on. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. You ate 32 eggs, Kobayashi. That's the most you've ever eaten in 1 minute?
Well, he's never done it before, so far, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Kobayashi on the first try. 32 eggs in a minute. We're going to move on to our second challenge of the day, and this one includes our very own Chris Chesnut. Kobayashi is going to drink 1 gallon of milk in the time that it will take Chris to drink
24 ounces.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Sonnets to Tom Brady's brain. Oh, Brady's brain, it's on the train. Running through the strategies and games. Peter loves it for each day. Shouts hooray for Brady's brain. In every game while others cheer for strikes and all the fame. Peter's got his notebook out, jotting insights from the game. Look at the play, what a scheme, he'll loudly exclaim. Who needs a homer when you've got Glebby's brain? Oh, Glebby's brain, it's on the train. Fighting through the strategies and games. Glory's brain. While fans go wild for curveballs that spin, Peter's analyzing the genius within.
30 seconds remaining.
From tactic throws to the mental domain, he's all about the cerebrum game. Oh, Bloody's brain, it's on the train. Running through the strategies and games. Peter loves it for each day. Shouts the rainbow, Bloody's brain. So here's to the brain.
Welcome back. Musical stylings of who else? Jay-Z, who was the opener last night in Foxborough, Perloff, for the Tom Brady Patriots Hall of Fame and number retirement soiree extravaganza.
Did Jay-Z perform or just hang out?
No, he performed.
That is rare. Wow.
I think this is, this is probably, it's got to be, this is the song that the Patriots come out to, I think, for most of Brady's time. So
gotcha.
Jay-Z, a big part of this. And I think this must have lasted. Did this go 5 hours last night? I mean, it was a sold-out crowd in Foxborough. I know that's going to make a lot of people's stomach turn, but
sorry, I missed a lot of this. The whole sold out, like the whole stadium was filled with people.
Pretty much, it was just where they set up a stage, like kind of near the goal line, and so behind the stage there was nobody,
like a concert,
so like a concert. Yeah, so it's basically sold out Foxborough, like as if Taylor Swift was there.
And people had to pay like real prices to get into this. It's just a retirement ceremony?
I mean, they offered you quite a bit. You had all of, Jay-Z, Kenny Chesnut also performed. Bill Burr was like one of the masters of ceremonies. You had every Patriots legend was there. Brady spoke, Belichick spoke, Randy Moss, everyone.
Yeah, but you already had the roast. Why do you need this?
Well, not how many people attended the roast? Like,
well, we all, yeah, but you got, I'm saying if you're a Pats fan, you got to watch the roast. It feels like this is a watered down version of the roast, although it does seem kind of awesome.
Well, there were some roasting moments because this was like a full on event.
Yeah, this is like a gigantic entertainment product they're putting out there.
No doubt. So let's give you a little of what happened last night. First, Bill Burr, the comedian, who at one point they put up a series of still photos up on the screen, and he was like riffing on it, and it's Brady with a bunch of people. So here's Bill Burr riffing on a picture of Brady and Josh Allen on the golf course together.
Oh, look at Josh Allen. Look at him. Tom Brady just explained the cover 2 defense to him. He's like, I just run and throw it to somebody on the other side of the field. I don't care. He's from Wyoming. He's just happy to see an ocean.
He's actually not from Wyoming, ironically. But
he's from California.
I am so sorry. That really tickled me because how many times is the Bills offense are going to run around and whip it down the field 30 yards?
I've often asked myself if Josh Allen understands the cover 2 defense. I have the same thought.
I had this image of Tom Brady say there, okay, well, the safety's over here, Josh. That means it's a cover 2, and that means you have to throw it here. Josh's like, huh?
Yeah. All right. Here's more from Bill Burr. This is now him reacting to a picture of a young Tom Brady standing next to a young Peyton Manning.
Oh, the great Peyton Manning. Come on, what a class act coming out tonight. Keep it going for him. Come on. There you go. Unfortunately, this photo is proof that God does not love everybody. Some people he takes his time on. Other people he just kind of slaps them together. I think the angels were like, God, you realize that's a baby giraffe neck. You do realize that, right? And he was like, don't worry, I'll just put him in the woods of Louisiana with all my other mistakes.
Oh, no.
And then Bill Burr says, and I'm not going to be playing New Orleans for quite a while after that quip. So that was a little from Bill Burr. We're talking about the highlights last night from the Tom Brady ceremony in Foxborough. He was put in the Patriots Hall of Fame, and he also had his number retired. Again, Perloff, just like the roast of Tom Brady, Drew Bledsoe coming through and stealing the show.
You know, of all the great things about Tom, great teammate, greatest quarterback of all time, you were the worst backup quarterback in the history of the NFL. You never understood that when I got healthy, you're supposed to go sit the hell down
Bledsoe's revenge tour here, as Brady is getting all these accolades, has been one of the best sideshows that I would have never expected.
He's made a career move out of being replaced by Tom Brady.
Brilliant.
It's like the guy who gave up, Ralph Branco, who gave up the famous home run. Did he give up, the shot heard around the world? Now he used to tour and talk about it and made it a positive. God bless Drew Bledsoe. I mean, his Q rating is 100 now with these Tom Brady jokes.
I think that it's also a man kind of solid in himself. He did get $100 million.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
as a consolation prize. And he did get to start again in the league.
Yeah. And he actually, I'm glad that first Super Bowl run, he came in for one of the playoff games. So he earned his ring. So he's fine.
Okay, more from this last night. How about Randy Moss getting emotional when the crowd gave him a standing ovation?
I think that a lot of fans here were just wondering, and I think football fans were just wondering what they were going to get. Y'all know it's always good to feel this. I thank y'all.
Yeah, and it was a long ovation. Moss is crying, as he's, talking about what could have been with the Patriots when he was there. Okay, more from this Tom Brady last night. Here are some of the highlights. How about Robert Kraft announcing that not only was Brady getting into the Hall of Fame, but they were going to retire number 12.
There is only one iconic number that will always represent Tom Brady. And tonight, I promise that it will never be worn again, as the number 12 is now officially retired.
So that was a little bit of a curveball because that was not originally thought to be the plan, that they would retire 12 at a different time, but they did it last night. Let's hear from the man himself. How about Tom Brady on the Patriots taught everyone a very valuable lesson?
We're blessed because we learn so many things that most people never have the opportunity to learn. That nothing of significance in life is accomplished as an individual. Nobody individually hangs those 6 banners up there. The team does.
I'm going to send that to Luca. And then finally, Brady's final words to the Foxborough crowd as he's put in the Patriots Hall of Fame.
I am Tom Brady, and I am a Patriot. Thank you.
Wait, we didn't play the next line where he says, unless the Raiders call me this offseason and they need a starter.
All right. Except if San Francisco really had gone with me over.
Serious question. So they retired number 12 last night.
Yeah.
I thought we'd looked at the schedule and decided they were going to do that week 5 against the Dolphins when he was there for Fox. So now there's no in-season, there's no more celebration. This is it. This seems unusual to do this. I've never heard of this. A Wednesday in June to do all this hoopla.
Yeah, I love it. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off on all this stuff. I mean, they're going to find a million other ways to bring them back. They'll honor each of the Super Bowl teams. Will get their own day. And don't worry, the Patriots will milk this for everything it's possibly worth. But I kind of like that you did this. You sold out the arena, or the stadium rather. You've got everyone there. Let's just get this over with, right? Like in a good way. Like, we're all there to celebrate. Just do it.
But I wonder, though, like the Fox executives are like, oh, I got this great narrative of Tom Brady returning to Foxborough. And Bogusch had a great point. Why is that game on CBS? On Fox. It should be on CBS, but they picked this one game. Maybe they thought Tua is too skinny and the Dolphins aren't going to be good, and what's the point?
Both teams are going to be bad.
Yeah, like I think the Patriots are like, you know what? Let's just get this over with. I don't think any primetime games are going to be here in the fall.
Yeah, I think you and I will disagree on the Dolphins a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of like it. I'm getting to the point here where I'm kind of Brady'd out. And
yeah, that's what I meant to start with. Like, this feels like a continuation of the roast.
Sort of. And, I'm kind of ready for maybe a little break from Brady. And now he'll come back when the season starts or whatever. He'll be out there selling whatever. But, we can kind of pick and choose what we want to hear from him on that side. And then we'll see him in the Fox broadcast.
To Brady's smart too. It seems like he's building sort of momentum towards his broadcasting career. I mean, it's little things, But now all of a sudden it doesn't feel strange that he's going to be the one guy for Fox.
He's really out and about. Like he's out here amongst us in his retirement. Amongst us regular people.
Right, and it's different. It's a totally different energy than it was last year. Last year, it didn't feel like he was coming anywhere near the TV booth.
Well, that and also he was like skinny and seemed kind of it's kind of down.
Well,
the divorce,
we know why
all that
now.
stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the midst of a separation.
Yeah. No, he's all the way back. He never really went anywhere, but there you go. And that's your Tom Brady, maybe for a while. I think I'm good on Brady for a sec.
Yeah, after 20 years of watching him beat your team.
Need a chance to miss him a little bit, if that will ever happen. Coming up, we got an update on the biggest story in the NFL.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining.
Introduce myself, my name is Ho. Ace to the OB. I used to rule snowflakes by the OZ. I guess even back then you could call me CO or the ROC. Fresh out the frying pan into the fire, I beat up. Music fans #1 supplier. Flyer than a piece of paper bearing my name. Got the hottest chick in the game, wearing my chain, that's right, Ho. Not TOC, but similar to the letters, no one can do it better. I check cheddar like a food inspector. My homie String told me, dude, finish your breakfast. So that's what I'ma do. Take you back to the dude with the lesson. Fast forward the jewels and the necklace. Let me tell you dudes what I do to protect this. Shoot at you actors like movie directors. Say the movie, dog. Foxborough, make some noise! Put one hand in the air for the GOAT, Mr. Tom Brady, tonight.
But it's next year, 10 years, 20 years from now, you'll never be able to say that these brothers lied to you, Jack.
Singing loud, so I come through in the block and everything that's flat. I'm like, check it out with bling on, I'm complex. I never claim to have wings on, nigga. I get my variety means on whenever there's a drop. Get your own brothers out, cause that's when I brainstorm. And you can blame Sean, I ain't invent the game, I just
5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Well, all that's left to be decided is this thing going to be 4 games and a sweep, maybe 5? I don't know, but the Boston Celtics are on their way to their 18th title. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Mavericks went on a run in the fourth quarter, tried to steal this game after they had been down. Well, they led by, a point at halftime, even though they had been outplaying the Celtics, and you knew that was a problem.
Right, they gave their best punch to the Boston. Same thing happened in game 2. They gave their best punch to Boston, and then you look at the scoreboard, I'm like, whoa, this is not the lead they should have.
Yeah, and then in the third quarter, Celtics just went off. They were awesome in the third quarter. Everything was clicking for them. And then in the fourth, here come the Mavericks. And this is why we love basketball, right? Because you're never really out of it. And here come the Mavericks. They go on a 22-2 run. But with 4 minutes and 12 seconds left to go, Luka Doncic fouls out of the game. I mean, there's so much time left.
I know.
When you're making this run, you come all the way back. They were only down by 3 at that point. I mean, they had cut the lead to 3 points for the Celtics. They were forcing turnovers on the Celtics. They were awesome. The Mavs totally switched everything. And then Luka fouls out. And then Kyrie just really wasn't enough to carry it home.
Yeah, also Boston got their act together.
That's true.
We're talking about the negatives with Luka and Kyrie. How about the positive with Jaylen Brown?
And Tatum.
Tatum, yes, Tatum had a much better game here. But it was really when the slide started, who do they keep going to? Brown is their stopper.
Big dunk in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think that, and I think we both think we should have seen this coming. They learned something from that Warriors loss. They're the team that knows what's going on now.
I told you could learn something from losses, and everyone's to throw the Bills of the 90s in my face.
Yeah, because the coach of the Oilers said, hey, the Bills kept going to the finals and they didn't win. To blame Chuck Knobloch or whatever his name is.
Chris. I know, but you wonder why he brought that up and no one else does. And it's because I believe most people were with me on this one. Experience does matter, especially bad losses. You learn from that. And then if you get an opportunity to actually avenge that loss, you want to make the most of it.
Well, I'll argue back. Larry Bird won his first finals. Magic Johnson won his first finals.
There are people.
And Luka feels like he should be in that category where he doesn't need a learning process. He's already there. Michael Jordan won his first finals.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, why us Dallas Mavericks pickers who are totally regretting that thought, okay, he's not going to, Kyrie has been there, and Luka's not going to be immature and shy away from this moment. And that kind of happened.
It did. 855-212-4227. You're welcome to give your thoughts on this because we're asking you, was last night Luka's fault? Because he was the one who was in foul trouble because he picked up his 5th foul only 20 seconds before he fouled out. You're playing with 5 fouls. You have not been a good defensive player. In fact, you've been a borderline embarrassing defensive player, whether you want to blame that on an injury or whatever. And then you chose that moment to all of a sudden take try to take a risky charge, and it ends up getting called a blocking foul and you're gone. And so it was just, he was out of his game. He was out of his head. He's screaming at the officials, but that's really nothing new. Luka was not poised in this game.
Yeah, I mean, that's all true, but he still had 27 points, 6 assists, and 6 rebounds, and he probably would have gotten he probably would have had a triple-double with 30 again. Let's not say he was terrible. He was +9 on the night. He was still effective. What I saw too, his legs went away in the second half. He worked to a lot of shots that he normally hits, and he missed shots, went in and out. So I think this killing Luka is a little overstated for last night. Yes, did he get out of his game? Did he not come back on defense because he was arguing? Yes, but I've seen Luka
flopping crazy.
Welcome to the Luka experience.
No, I know.
He still is pretty darn good.
But he did cost his team. When you're arguing the fouls or when you're flopping and you're on the ground, he was allowing transition baskets because he's not getting back. So
that's not new for Luka Doncic.
It was 2 things. The other part of this is you kind of know that if you go down 0-3, not kind of, you know that if you go down 0-3, it's curtains. No one's ever come back from that. And so, and the person who came back from 3-1 was LeBron freaking James, and a whole bunch of other things had to go right for that Cavs team too. So it's game 3 had to be Luka's game. And Kyrie showed up, and he had a pretty good game, and he was finally hitting shots and hitting threes. And Luka, you have to have your masterpiece in this game 3 to keep the series alive, and he didn't.
Again, though, I mean, Celtics got a lot of journeymen hitting three-pointers, though. The Mavs have no journeymen hitting three-pointers. Like, really, to me, the game came down to the three-point shooting. That Hauser and who's our guy who Xavier Tillman hit a random three. I think that if the Mavericks wing players around Luka were playing better, then it might not be 3-0. Honestly, like Tim Hardaway Jr. unfortunately can't hit a shot anymore.
Yeah.
PJ Washington hasn't found that three-point stroke again. So I think people are pointing to Luka a little too much after last night.
Yeah, I think he deserves to wear it. You can let us know what you think at 855-212-4227. We should mention that it's just after 7 a.m. here on the East Coast, and the U.S. Open has teed off. So some early pairings that you might want to keep an eye on. You've got Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, and Brooks Koepka, who are teeing off at 7:40. Ricky Fowler, Adam Hadwin, Phil Mickelson are all together at 7:51. And Tiger Woods, who's talking a pretty confident game yesterday, Pearl, he tees off at 7:29 Eastern time with Will Zalatoris and Matt Fitzpatrick. Yeah.
We need a good run here from Tiger. Come on. I need something to watch this weekend. I don't want to see nothing against Xander Schauffele, but Xander Schauffele and
it's Scheffler. Listen,
Scheffler in handcuffs
world
is not going to do it for me.
You know, I've really kind of changed my tune on Scheffler, and I hate to say that just him getting arrested kind of did it, but it's going to be Schauffele, and Rory McIlroy all in a pairing. They don't tee off until 1:14 Eastern time.
If you could ask one of those guys a question, I mean, Schauffele, forget, but would you rather know about Rory's marital status or Scottie Scheffler's legal status?
Yeah, probably Rory at this point. All the charges have been dropped on Scheffler.
Would you rather be in a room where Scottie Scheffler talked about what really happened with the cops and told his lawyer we should sue or not sue, or a room with Rory McIlroy and his wife figuring that out?
Yeah, you know, when you put it that way, I'd probably rather go with Scotty, because I get the feeling that Rory's story is probably pretty, like, you've heard it before from one of your friends who nearly got divorced. You know?
I still feel like we don't have an answer why that cop's knee was bleeding.
We don't. We never have the body cam. But Scotty Scheffler is basically Tiger-like right now. And the fact that, you know, he won last week, even with all this legal stuff hanging over his head that was ultimately dropped. But, you know, I go back to this, and you and I disagree on it. We talked about it off the air, that if he doesn't get arrested, so he gets arrested and that whole hullabaloo happens while we're sitting here on the air a couple Fridays ago, and he still came in 8th place. You know, he shot like a 66 that day. And then it all caught up with him in round 3, and that's where things kind of went off the rails, and he was still great in the final round. Like, I think that arrest, you could make the argument that it cost him a major.
Yeah, I mean, but Schauffele came in at 21 under for that tournament, so it's no guarantee. That's a low number.
Oh, I get it, but, I mean, Scheffler finished top 10.
I'm just saying, like,
thing that happened.
I think it's a way oversimplification to say that arrest cost him the major, because it was going to be super close. Even if he wasn't going to blow away a 21 under, that's not happening.
No, but Scheffler has just been on such an incredible tear that even if he's not winning these tournaments, he's like coming in second. Like, he's right there.
Oh,
this is not boom
Mr.
or bust with
Consistent.
him.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's incredible. And I just wonder if Scheffler, if we ever get to a point, again, this is very premature, a lot could happen, but if we ever get to a point where he is challenging Jack Nicklaus for the major titles, like, would you think back on this and think, man, that PGA at Valhalla where he gets detained for maybe no good reason, a misunderstanding, miscommunication, whatever you want to call it, it could have cost him a major that may cost him a shot at immortality.
I hope we're still in the air at this point. I will guarantee he is not chasing Jack Nicklaus's major record.
Well, of course, that's a safer bet to make, but he's on
27 and he's got what, 2?
Yeah, but you have to think about what he's doing.
But is he closer to who's the guy? It was Pedrick Harrington who won 2 random ones, or is he closer to Jack Nicklaus?
Well, here's a little bit for you. He's the 4th PGA player in the last 60 seasons to pile up 5 victories before the end of June. This is Tiger, Tom Watson, and Johnny Miller were only the 3 others. He's the first golfer since Justin Thomas to win 5 times. there's more here. This is an ESPN article I was reading the other day. He's finished top 25 in each of his 13 starts on tour this season. His worst finish was a tie for 17th. He has 5 wins in his past 8 starts, which included a second victory at the Masters, and he tied for second in 2 others. And again, tied for 8th at the PGA when he was arrested a couple hours before he teed off on May 17th. It's just amazing what he's doing.
If you love him so much, why don't you marry him, Maggie? I mean, what is this, Scotty Scheffler?
I'm appreciating it.
Are you going to throw down a $5 on Scotty Scheffler? Because I'll take Colin Morikawa.
I feel like you always take Colin Morikawa.
I do, and it always, at least he's there. I also always take Victor Hovland. I've taken Victor Hovland in every tournament for like the last 3 years. Very handsome man.
How's it going with the golf?
No, he's all
close.
He always threatens. Like there's Victor Hovland leads after day 1 of every major.
Wait, can we bring up 2 things about you from last night?
Yeah.
One, how'd the betting go last night?
The live. I was sure. So when the run started for the Mavs, I hadn't when they were down 20, 90, was it 91-70 or 90? I was like, I said to myself, this doesn't feel totally over. I should get in a live bet. And then it got down to 6, and it was still plus 170 Mavs. And then it got down to 3, and it was still plus 150 Mavs. So I threw in a couple fivers on that. Didn't work out. And I also have an overall bet on the Mavs to win this series.
Wait, was the last live bet you made right before Luka fouled out?
Yeah, it was before. It was before Luka fouled out. But it wasn't even that too. Somebody hit a 3 right. Somebody on the Celtics stopped the run. Like the Celtics finally scored. That didn't work out. I was so confident. I'll be honest. There's a bit of emotional hedge here.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the Mavericks.
But you keep betting them.
I thought they were going to win this one. Something about Luka. I was with everyone. Everyone felt annoyed by Luka last night. Is that fair to say?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
He was peak annoying.
I've always viewed this team as not the most entertaining team. Luka's below the rim. He's frustrating. He has a slow, plodding pace. Kyrie is a black hole. I'm sorry, he just does not get his teammates involved. So they're not my favorite
2 assists
team.
last night for Kyrie.
Yeah, they're not my favorite team. So I'm sort of rooting, believe it or not, for arch rival Celtics, which is so weak. But I did feel like, and did you feel the same way last night? That what had happened? Let's play a what if, Maggie and Perloff multiverse. What if they had come back and it was 2-1? Can you imagine the pressure on the Celtics in that situation?
Yeah, it would have been. I think people would have said, "Here we go again." And it's the credit to the Celtics that they never relented. Now, listen, did they get a little bit of a favor? I think Luka really helped him out because he gets not ejected. He fouls out from the game, and again, the Mavericks are already the less talented team in this series. So to lose the best player on that team, you're done. You're cooked. And I thought Kyrie actually might keep him afloat. I think he hit the next 2 shots, but then Boston totally settled in. They're picking him up full court, getting the ball out of his hands. There's an out of bounds play where Kyrie doesn't even touch the ball when you're under a minute left, when it's still a 6-point game. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, but more interesting to you, I had a socially awkward situation, a Curb Your Enthusiasm type situation.
So let's say you were also out at a really fancy dinner last night.
Yeah,
let's talk about that.
It was just like a boys' night out steakhouse dinner.
Love it.
12 guys at the table.
And these are, what kind of people are these? Party
Old
animal
friends.
people?
No.
Okay.
They're all middle-aged like me. So, they all got to hit.
A weeknight, nonetheless.
Yeah, they all got to hit the 8:47 train back to Mamaroneck or somewhere. I don't know. Yeah, so it wasn't a party crowd. But
old friends.
People were drinking. Order time at a steakhouse. Do you all want to order individually or split porterhouse or share steaks where the restaurant cuts up the steak and you get individual pieces?
Yeah. So I think this is always a share situation because you're generally going to these fancy steakhouses to get the porterhouse. Like that's not that's only a once in a while order, at least in my life.
Right.
So I'm always going for the porterhouse. Let's split it.
So my understanding, and I'm not a steak expert, porterhouse is half filet, half New York strip.
Yeah.
But everybody wants the filet part. So why don't you just order the filet instead? So why don't you just go individual filet and you get just as much steak? Because we ordered porterhouse. I'll tell you, I got like 2 pieces.
That's it?
Yeah, we didn't order enough porterhouse or something.
Okay, well, you had 12 people and you did 3 porterhouses?
No, so 3 or 4 guys went off the menu. Like one guy ordered the mutton, which is lamb.
Yeah.
One guy, I think,
Good luck to you on the mutton.
One weirdo ordered salmon or some crap
there's always
like that.
one.
Yeah. So not everybody wanted in on the porterhouse. So we got our numbers off. There wasn't enough pieces.
I'm going to not blame you guys. That actually has to be the waiter. the waiter, without feeling like they're trying to upsell you on stuff, has to make sure that you're not leaving this restaurant hungry. So they just at least have to suggest you guys, that's a little on the lighter end.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, and then you do whatever you want about ordering because it's expensive. But the waiter has to let you know you have not ordered enough.
Yeah,
especially at that place. I know the place you went, Keen's. It's been around forever. It's super old school
yeah.
New York. The waiter's got to let you know there.
And I know, like, listen, when it comes to restaurants, you're my guru because you know that business back and forth.
I do. Grew up in it. Yeah.
So the other little social faux pas.
Okay, what happened? Outside the steak. So you left there hungry?
I left there a little, not that hungry, and I'll tell you why. Because everyone's ordering, is anyone getting salads? No one's getting salads. And I say, is anyone getting soup? Everyone laughs. And I said, I don't care. I ordered the lobster bisque.
Oh, I love that, though.
But there were 12 guys there. Nobody got anything before the meal. I ordered a soup.
I think that's a power move. I love that from you.
But here's the thing. The lobster bisque came out in 30 seconds. What does that say to you?
It's sitting there.
It's been there for 3 days, and they microwaved it.
No. It's like sitting in a pot that's like all in a warmer.
I think this lobster bisque had been around for at least 6 days.
Oh, no. That's not good.
And someone told me, a restaurant's like, yeah, lobster bisque is never fresh.
Well, I mean, I always am a fan of the lobster bisque. I think it's great. But if you have seen the movie Fight Club, a lot of people, I think that turned people off from the bisque.
Yeah. So we got to do a steak meal for the Maggie and Perloff show. We got to.
Okay, but we got to make sure we really order our faces off.
No,
here.
I think we have to order individually. I know the personalities in the show. Like, I don't think a share situation would go well.
Well, Pete was just talking about how he wanted a steak.
I was thinking about you last night, Pete. I'm like, Pete would love this.
Yeah, whenever I go to steakhouse, we're not sharing.
You don't share.
I knew you would not share because you find it too frustrating.
No, I don't want anyone touching my steak. I'm going to get a giant steak myself, and I'm going to I go out with my friends from college all the time. Not all the time, but like once every quarter of the year. And we go to a steakhouse. And one guy always wants to do the porterhouse split.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works, but for us now, it's like, no, we're all getting our own steak. Because
so tearing apart the friend group.
Yeah, well, no, it's like, all right, I can't have the steak I want.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, and you also like it prepared a little differently because you're more of a well-done guy.
Right. Or more of a medium and
well.
let it cook. Let it come out hot and let it cook a little bit. Let it sit for a couple minutes and then eat it.
Got it.
And what about the side? You're okay sharing sides,
Oh,
obviously.
yeah, you have to share sides. If you order your own side, then you're buying houses every day for a living.
And what's your favorite side? Because I have a strong favorite.
Oh, it's the cream spinach. And there's not a second.
So we're getting 3 cream spinaches. And mashed potatoes are good, too.
Mashed potatoes on mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese also good. Ryan, sharing the steak or getting your own?
My own, but you share sides, of course. Just because sometimes you get a bad piece of the steak. Maybe it's like too much grizzle.
A little
Sometimes
bit.
Yeah, that happened to me last night with the porterhouse. Too much grizzle.
That's why you can't share.
I know.
You get stuck with the worst piece.
Man, I'll share. I love sharing. My poor husband, when he joined our family or like whatever, when we getting serious, my whole family, like, you cannot sit with us and not share something on your plate.
You're one of those families.
We are one of those families. It's almost like you're sharing the food before you even bite into it. And if you don't offer up bites to everyone at the table, well, not everyone, but like if you don't offer up bites when we're all with like the nuclear family, you're out.
No.
It's good to know.
No.
Good to know.
We're all over each other's plates. Like, hook you up with a bite of this, a bite of that. Can I get a little of the sides on it? Make sure the little sauce is on there. We're very generous.
The Grays are food people, though. Like, you'd be foolish to avoid. Like, her mom knows food really well.
I know. My dad likes doing that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's try a little bit of that. I'm not a fan of that. I want to get what I want to get.
I know. It's very, like, maybe we should put that as a poll question. Are you okay sharing anything on your dish? Because some people are very territorial.
Yeah.
When their plate comes out, it's like the Iron Dome goes up over
cage
it.
around it.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's hypothetical for Ryan because I don't think you're making the cut for our steak dinner, dude.
Oh, don't say that.
Filling in for EJ today. You're doing a wonderful job. We're going to bring you a doggy bag.
No.
I will say this. I will say
sorry.
This, the best, a very underrated place that you would think would have good steaks has a great steak.
Applebee's?
Chili's.
Oh, I knew.
I thought you would say
Chili's
Outback.
has. I thought you had to get like,
Tacos.
Tex-Mex at Chili's.
You can, but
You can get a straight steak.
One time, I went with my kids and my wife, and we were out, so it was right near there, and I saw the steak. I was like, all right, let me get a steak. Excellent, Very well prepared.
Good to know.
And very well, and you know, it's Chili's price. So once in a while, I think a good steak from you get a steak from Chili's. It's excellent.
Listen, it's got to scratch the itch. I'd love to do that. The best chain restaurant steak.
Yeah,
I would think Outback would have to win this, right?
Well, right, there's Applebee's. How about Shula? That's still a chain. Don Shula's Steakhouse. Do they still have those?
I don't know.
Oh, I've never been there, but I would love to.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I've never been to that one.
I'll have to see if there's. Oh, you've never been to
that's not like
Shula?
a Chili's. Like, there's no Don Shula Steakhouse at like the Chicago airport because that wouldn't make sense anyway.
Texas Roadhouse. There's
Texas Roadhouse, another one.
Longhorns.
What was the
Longhorn,
place?
too?
I don't know. You guys might have missed it. Growing up, it was like called Golden something.
Corral?
Golden Corral.
It's a buffet.
Yeah. Do
I've eaten there.
Those places still exist?
My friends and I went through a thing in high school where we started eating at all these buffets, like Chinese buffet, Golden Corral. It's a choice. You're out of there in a wheelbarrow, you know, because you just can't help yourself.
You get sick.
It's just there's so much food.
You might get food poisoning too.
Oh, luckily that never happened.
You're not spending much money though.
No, you're not. It's a great value. I always mess up though, and I get like rice, like stupid. I should know not to do this.
You know, if the best place, you guys ever been to Taste of Texas or any of those giant like Houston or Dallas steakhouses?
No.
Because not only they give you a steak that's like out of the Flintstones, and then they have the Primo salad bar. You ever go to a steak place?
Love a salad bar.
I mean, like a salad bar that will knock your socks off, Maggie. When we go down for the bet to lose to Wembanyama, we're going to Taste of Texas.
Okay.
It's my favorite spot.
Well, you're driving. I'm gonna fly.
Yeah. Now you're into it, right? Like,
yeah, you're turning my head a little bit. Honestly, I want the
Salad
breakfast
bar.
tacos too. Yeah, I don't have to go to Texas for a salad bar, but I'll do it.
oh man, I just love that. I'm gonna drive down to San Antonio, and the breakfast taco place will be closed.
Without a doubt. This is definitely like the scene of Vacation.
Yeah, we get to Wally World.
Wally World is, moose outside. Ryan, let's put that on the poll. The best chain restaurant steak is what? It doesn't have to be a poll, just a question. 855-212-4227. Okay, coming up, lots more to do. We mentioned it. Let's get to the most bizarre story of NFL mandatory minicamps. We got an update for you next.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Every single day on Maggie and Perloff show, there's someone in the chat who steals the show. He sings along, he cracks us up all day. We call him Wronger, but he's always right, okay. Oh, Wronger, our witty friend from the start until the end. In the comments, you're a sight, cheering us on, wrong or right.
There's a guy we know on the radio, Andrew Perloff, he's got a show. He talks sports all day and he makes us laugh, but there's one word that just cracks us in half. When he talks about the woods and the creature within, he says it in a way that makes us all grin. Sasquatch, Sasquatch, oh how he says it wrong. It's the highlight of his song. With a twinkle in his eye and a smile on his face, Andrew Perloff says Sasquatch in his own special way. He debates the game with passion and fire, but when he says Sasquatch, we never tire. It's a mix of a chuckle and a joyful sound. Whenever he says it, laughter abounds. From the forest deep to the radio waves, Andrew's push-ups, wear funny hats. He'd laugh and cheer when they missed a catch. But little did he know they had a plan to hatch. Oh, Andrew Bogusch, why you gotta be mean?
Andrew Perloff's got a tale to tell.
Andrew Perloff's got a tale to tell. Thinks he's an Aussie, but you can never tell. Tries to talk like he's from down under, but his accent's thunder. Oh, what a wonder. Andrew makes you belong at the Outback. Not living in the bush, but serving up a snack. Your G-Day sounds more like G-Night. At the Outback Steakhouse, you'd be just right. Crikey, he says, but it sounds all wrong. Mixes kangaroos with a New York song. Crocodile Dundee would have a laugh if he heard our Andrew with his strange mishmash. Andrew makes you belong at the Outback. Not living in the bush, but serving up a snack. Your G-Day sounds more like G-Night. At the Outback Steakhouse, you'd be just right. Foster's in his hand, trying to fit in, but his mates back home just chuckle and grin. He should be slinging steaks, not slinging.
Bogusch and swoosh, talking about the game. Yeah, that's the vibe. Bogusch and swoosh, on top of the game. NBA refs and dating advice, it's all the same. Whistle blows out, no foul. Refs calling shots, but when it comes to love, we got that knowledge too. Listen up, cause Bogusch and swoosh dropping truth for you. For you. Refs and romance, a serious combination here to give you. Bogusch and smooth, whether on the court or in mattress. Bogusch and smooth, playing their part.
Break ends in 5 seconds.
What the is Aaron Rodgers up to today?
Welcome back, Maggie Perloff. Maggie, I don't know when we came up with that segment, but never has that question been more apropos because this is a one time I think everyone in America has no idea what the bleep is Aaron Rodgers up to today. Don't know what country he's in. Don't know what he's doing. Do you have an answer?
No, because the sky's the limit.
I mean, the world of things that he could be doing right now it's infinite.
Yeah, we have to gather the clues, right? So what we learned yesterday from Connor Hughes on the show, who covers the team for SNY, is that he's not in the country.
Yep.
That this was a trip planned back when he was injured. So this started a year ago that he started planning this trip. That it's a choice not to be there. It's not something family related. Nobody, thank God, is not sick or in distress. This is presumably some kind of leisure activity.
So we know he's gone to Central America to do ayahuasca, right? That's been done.
Yeah, I think it was Peru maybe, and then I think also Costa Rica. He's done a couple times.
We know he's met the Dalai Lama. I believe he has.
That was with the Green Bay years, yep.
Yeah, I was thinking that might be a Dalai Lama situation.
Well, you really can't reschedule the Dalai Lama.
Yeah.
A Dalai Lama situation.
Yeah. I mean,
he brought him
exactly
a football. I'm sure the Lama was like,
that's
thanks.
That's a good excuse. I mean, that's pretty much the best excuse out there.
Do you think
I had a meeting with the Dalai Lama.
And to be fair, you might have to book the Dalai Lama a year out.
Yeah, the Dalai Lama can't move his schedule around mandatory minicamp.
Well, if he was a true football fan, maybe
out
he
of the
would.
country. I blame the Lama on this one.
Well, the other part that Connor told us, you got that going for you, which is nice. The other thing that Connor told us yesterday is that the reason why the Jets are being cagey on where he is, they're not just saying where he is, even though they claim they know, is because there is this concern about his security. So the idea that Rodgers is such a huge star that the moment they release his coordinates, TMZ and others would be flocking to wherever he is. That's a concern.
Well, if he was going to Nepal to meet the Dalai Lama, TMZ does not travel there.
Are you sure they don't have a Nepal
I don't know. I
office?
can't see Harvey with his cup saying, so tell me about when you were climbing there. No, I'm not sure TMZ does Nepal. They're waiting outside
grainy
They're
footage.
waiting outside the Kimmel show. I don't think that the same guys are going to fly all the way. No, so yeah, this paparazzi thing makes me think Europe, maybe some sort of transcendental thing in maybe Netherlands.
It's funny. I don't know how you'd zero in on that.
Like, doesn't it have to be, though, something that has to be the last 2 days? Like, you can't just say,
like
I've been planning to
conference.
go to Greece, so I'm still going to Greece. You can just move your week in Greece away from minicamp. Like, he better come back and say, it was a Dalai Lama situation, and it was only that day that I could. Like, it has to be something scheduled by somebody else that's immovable for this to make any sense.
Like a conference.
Like, whose schedule is more important than Aaron Rodgers? Like, in his life, who would actually have a more important schedule than him? I know globally that's a silly question, but for him, this is his life and his job that's important. What could be more important?
Well, it's not one person. It's probably a group that has to
Maybe.
get together. Maybe it's like the car show at the Javits Center or something.
Like something that's been scheduled on the Mediterranean right now.
Well, it's something
He's
that's been
filming Below
scheduled.
Deck Med.
Yeah, maybe it's a boat show. I mean, it's been scheduled out for many years.
He's going for a steak at Chili's.
Yeah. It's not like,
boat
he
show.
has a hotel in Greece and he has to be there. You're right. It's not something like that.
Yeah, but you
Something where
cancel
other
on that, you
peop-
could lose your whole deposit.
I understand.
I can afford that.
Try not to laugh.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you still get the Marriott points?
Oh, but maybe he used points.
Yeah.
And it's harder to get points back. So
There are dates that only the points are
Blackout
good.
dates.
Maybe it's in
No.
Atlantis or something.
It's definitely some sort of drug-related conference. I guarantee.
Legal drug.
Yeah, but does anyone have a better idea?
Well, here's Robert Saleh. 2 days ago, made a firestorm because he said it was an unexcused absence. He could be subjected to a fine, and it was an event very important to him. Here's Saleh asked to clarify.
Aaron and I are on the exact same page. There's no issue between Aaron or his teammates, for that matter. So, like I said, we addressed it yesterday. It's not. It's more of an issue for everyone outside the building than it is inside, and that's about it.
That's got Dalai Lama energy, if I've ever heard a Robert Saleh quote.
So, not cleaned up is kind of how I would say.
Wait.
Still more intrigued than ever.
Do we believe Robert Saleh that nobody in the building has a problem with him not being there?
Well, what's funny about that is apparently Tyrod Taylor, who's the backup quarterback for Rodgers, had no clue that Rodgers was not going to be there. So the idea that he was taking first-team reps in all of minicamp was kind of like news to him. So, no, not everyone was in the loop.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this. Almost feels like Robert Saleh and his cohort Nathaniel Hackett don't know exactly what they're doing.
Get out of here. Those two guys?
Yeah.
No.
But I can't wait to find out. Rodgers has to. Like, I love that Rodgers is building the mystery by not telling anyone where he is. That's one of the better parts of this.
So I know incompetence is, with the Jets is normally the reason for these things.
Yeah,
so that
and they played a role.
Right. So it might just be that they didn't know how to do this correctly PR-wise. But listening to Saleh 2 days ago when he made the announcement and didn't in any real way try to... Forgive's not the right word, but again, he said it's inexcused. He said he could be fined. He sounded bothered by it. So my feeling is, whatever it is, Rodgers told him about it, and they then spend however many weeks trying to get him not to do it.
Oh, you think they tried to talk him out of it?
And then when he actually did go, that's why they were like, they didn't do him any favors.
Oh, you think they're
on
ticked off?
Tuesday.
You know, Diana Rossini was on with Boomer and Gio yesterday morning, and she had an interesting line. I know Diana's really plugged in, especially with the Jets. A lot of teams, but she said maybe this is the team, or maybe she didn't say maybe, trying to wrestle back a little power from Rodgers because Rodgers runs the building, and the owner of the Jets is more than happy to hand it over to any star that comes across. Like, he makes major decisions because Peyton Manning calls him and tells him to do it. They brought Tebow in because he's a star. Like, they can't get out of their way with the star bleeper stuff over there. And I think with Rodgers, like, are they really trying to wrestle back some power? What's the point? You've acquiesced on every single thing. Now he's actually healthy, and now you're going to try to put a line in the sand? Like,
well, they're not putting that line in the sand. He said, I don't have a problem with it. No one on the team.
No, but they're going to fine him, and they said they called it unexcused.
I think all that stuff is like the technical CBA nonsense. Because there's like a list of things you can be excused for. This is not one of them. So then he's subject to a fine that's out of their control.
I feel like there has to be some latitude on.
Well, that's my question. Why don't they excuse the absence if it's so darn important?
That's what I was thinking.
Because I think there are only certain things that you can be technically excused
And
for.
they
Since this is a mandatory
And meeting the
event.
Dalai Lama.
Yeah, they didn't put the Dalai Lama in the CBA.
Dalai Lama
a
situation is
mistake.
not an addendum to the thing.
Taking psychedelic drugs in a cave in Costa Rica is not on the list.
What if he's like in
Get a clue.
like a Baltic
NFL?
state or like in Russia with like a camera crew investigating something that he believes in, and that's why the Jets can't tell us where he is because he's like in a place where not that he shouldn't be, but a place that's not 100% friendly, and he's like digging around some conspiracy theory,
doing investigative work.
What?
I mean, okay.
Well, you
is
actually
anything, is anything off the table with this?
Maggie said yes. Maggie said yesterday to me on the phone. She's like, "Well, what if he's out doing incredible charity work and we're all going to look dumb here?" I'm like, "That doesn't sound like Rodgers because." He does do charity, but he's more of he explores his inner self. Like I don't think he's out there
Hold on,
feeding
Perloff.
kids.
You're scaring me. We did that on the air. That was not a phone conversation we had. And the fact that you're not sure what we say to each other on the phone and what we say to each other on the air.
No, that was on the phone.
That also happened on the show.
It was on the show.
Oh, jeez.
I'm just jealous he's listening because I say things and he goes, "Did you guys know that this happened?" About 35 seconds later. We should talk about that. I just did.
I know. Justin Jefferson signed a contract.
Oh, come on. You had an offhanded line. I was trying to read the story. The dude who signed the biggest non-quarterback contract in history.
Wait.
Sometimes I'm like, okay, I'd like to know like a little bit about it. I happen to look down at my computer and you threw it, it's like the biggest story of the week. You're like, and Justin Jefferson signed a
it
new
was the first thing I
contract.
said.
And then the Brewers won 7-4 over the Rangers with the same energy of your Justin
Hold
Jefferson
on.
headline. So I'm blaming you on that
Hold
one.
on, Bogusch. In this idea of where Aaron Rodgers possibly is this, are you thinking he's like fake mustache, wearing the glasses with a camera embedded, where he's like trying to find people who are like on a plane with Jeffrey Epstein type of situation?
I see him in a hood, like a hoodie walking around to try to not look exactly like Aaron Rodgers. And it's like it is a very not like a wooded area, but like more of a hard seascape kind of thing. There's rocks and cliffs.
And he's meeting who there?
I don't know.
Okay.
But again, this is a guy that like links murders to other things and believes crazy stuff. He could be doing anything
Maybe
right
it's
now.
like a Mr. Beast style video where he's dressed up and he's going to go interview people about Aaron Rodgers, like Jimmy Kimmel style, actually.
right.
Like, who's your favorite quarterback? Do you know Aaron Rodgers? And somebody will be like, no, it'll be really funny, and Jimmy
That'd be
Kimmel.
great.
And he had to do it in these.
Well, actually, it won't be
72
Jimmy Kimmel for Aaron Rodgers.
No, they're not
It'll
on-
be another show.
Good.
This deep, I'm not so sure that's
fine.
happening either.
I think
what
how-
if remember when Sean Penn secretly interviewed El Chapo in
That's what I'm
Mexico?
talking about.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Is there some
Yeah.
sort of El Chapo
Okay, but
character?
you're gonna also you're booking that a year out.
Pro-
You need to
well,
book El Chapo a
Chapo's-
year out?
Well, now we know where El Chapo is,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's a good point. Like drug kingpins are hard to get time with.
Yeah,
Matthew.
like think about it.
Tunnels have to be dug.
If you're sitting down with Putin or something, he can't have his schedule a year out. He'd be a sitting duck. You've got to keep
Great
that thing
point.
flexible.
Or but again, like you gotta get approvals. You've got to work on. You got to get a yes from Putin. Maybe a year ago, you got to start trying to get on the schedule, and then you get on the schedule.
And by the way,
3 months ago, and now you're scrambling.
Saleh says him and his teammates have no problem meeting. Putin might be a little bit of a problem. I know he's
I
short
would
of
have a
praise.
problem with it.
I mean, if he's off in North Korea right now,
Stick to
do you think
sports,
Malachi
bro.
Corley's not going to say something in the locker room? Like, I came to the NFL for this? Bro.
Is that a real name?
Yeah, they're rapping. Bro, why are you meeting with Kim Jong-un? Why aren't you working on the route tree with me, dude?
It's like, hey, we got a players only meeting. We got to clear the air.
Yeah. Like,
What are you doing in a
yeah, the
demilitarized
veteran's
zone?
Like the veteran's like, this guy doesn't even know what the plays mean, and you're sitting there meeting with North Korea.
Do you realize you open up against the San Francisco 49ers
Yeah.
on the road Monday Night Football?
Yeah.
We're under 100 days, bro.
Yeah. Come back to the States. Connor adding so much. Like, Connor must know where he is, right? He was on the show, Connor Hughes, yesterday. He's like, he's overseas. If you know he's overseas, then you probably know where he is. Why don't you tell us that? Add to the mystery.
They're saying it's a security issue. I bet if Connor does know, they're probably asking him, hey, be discreet here because you could be putting Rodgers' life in danger.
Well,
that's
wait,
not
we went
about
from TMZ to life in danger?
No,
Wait.
this is my point. This is why he's a place where he's not like. I shouldn't say not supposed to be, but he's in a dicey place. If the concern was, he's in Crete and we're afraid that we're going to send paparazzi to the beach.
Right.
He's on the beach as Aaron Rodgers. Like that's not a security concern. If it's a security concern, that means he's in a place that has security concerns that you could trigger by saying, Aaron Rodgers is here right now.
So wait, say you were a top secret Russian spy or something, and you're handing off nuclear secrets, and all of a sudden Aaron Rodgers shows up. You think that's the best spy? It's like, wait, do I know you from somewhere? No,
not me.
No,
Just me. I'm just a normal nuclear secret guy.
You know, because he throws something to his cameraman, and you're just like, that's a tight spiral.
Yeah, wow.
I recognize that throw. I know that thumb down at the end. That's
we
Rodgers.
just created another screenplay, The Quarterback Who Was a Spy.
He's always throwing guns out of people's hands and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he already
Pinpoint
he
accuracy.
often, remember he dressed up as John Wick for Halloween? Maybe he's getting too into it. Right now, Aaron Rodgers is wearing a trench coat, wearing a wig, somewhere in Latvia.
He's got a bulletproof vest on just in case.
I can't wait to find out what it actually is to compare it to Bogusch's wonderful scenario.
If he's at some kind of this would be the worst. Is if he's getting like a facelift. This would be only if he's like a movie star.
No,
He could be. Is it
like
Turkey that does the hair replacement surgeries? What's the Rodgers hairline like?
He can't do that.
I think he's okay.
Okay.
Is it like the Joe Buck thing?
Well, why couldn't he just go June 14th? Why does he have to go during mandatory minicamp?
Because
it can't
these
be
doctors have to get scheduled a year out.
No, it can't be cosmetic. Can't be.
Or he's just on vacation.
Well, that's what
that's
Cowherd
weak, though.
used that word.
If he's on vacation, that's weak. Like that, there's no excuse to
He
miss.
can't.
You can't do that.
But it is Aaron Rodgers. So the most obvious choice is probably the most logical.
Right.
So he is a spy. Is that what we're going with?
Well,
Bogusch, I'm afraid you've set him up now where this is going to be very disappointing.
Wait a second. Remember he would party with Miles Teller?
Yeah.
And in the summer? Maybe it was a A-list celebrity who could only get some time off from the movie set. So maybe it's Costa Rica with Brad Pitt and Bradley Cooper.
But he is the A-lister. Like those guys should rearrange
he's
around
not
Rodgers.
Brad Pitt.
I mean, he's football's Brad Pitt. Even Brad Pitt would say, "Don't do this, man. Like, go to camp."
I don't know. No, he's not really football's Brad Pitt.
Also, the A-list retreat, like secretive retreat thing, doesn't that kind of fly in the face of everything Rodgers is kind of against?
Oh,
the Illuminati,
you're saying
the glitterati.
I've read about those A-list retreats. There was a big Wall Street Journal, and like they pay like millions of dollars for stars to come. That's what it is. It's one of those A-list retreats.
He doesn't need the money.
He's out there partying with Selena Gomez and Elon Musk
I thought
right
he
now.
hates these people. I thought
He doesn't hate
Elon, I bet.
No. Aaron Rodgers is a hypocrite, man. Have you never learned that?
Right. Shoot. Forgot about that. You got me.
He hates these people. No, he loves these people. Also, some of those A-list retreats have a lot of his politics.
Oh, well, whatever. Who knows what his politics are? It's like it's a moving target.
I don't know. It's pretty consistent.
Anyway, well, now we just gotta know.
We gotta know.
We'll find out.
He's doing undercover work. He's at a drug conference, or he's at an A-list retreat.
Did you see the Elon Musk tweet yesterday about like, man, teleportation would really make life easier?
I agreed with that. I've thought about that many
like
times.
That?
No, I totally. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed.
Like for Elon.
We all actually. I talked to friends. They're like, aren't you guys all obsessed about man? Only if I could just time travel and go on a sports betting run, that would be amazing. You never
like
had
Biff?
that fantasy, like the Biff. Yeah, every sports better's had that fantasy. A time machine to go back and live bet when the Patriots were down 28-3 at half.
But take that sports betting out of it. We got to go to break. But take that sports betting out of it. Here's the question everyone has to ask. If you could teleport, would you rather go backwards or forwards?
Backwards.
Well, think about it.
Why would you go forward?
He already has.
Wait.
If you could see what the future holds, you could create the next Google. I mean, there's money opportunities anywhere you go.
So
this is Hot Tub Time Machine, the plot.
You go 10 years forward and read the sports page and find out what happened the 10 years before.
I'm not doing this to sports gamble.
Well,
but
then you're wasting
if you're
a
asking
portal.
me if I could go backwards or forwards, what would you do if you could teleport? 855-212-4227. We'll leave it on that note. Bogusch, we never got to the headlines.
It doesn't matter. Celtics won.
There we go.
Luka's a crybaby.
Coming up, somebody has a new nickname in the NFL, and it's the worst nickname I've ever heard. What is it? You'll find out next.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Celtics got no conviction, but now he's hiding, running away, won't own up to his words, can't face the dismay. He thought Miami would rise like the sun in the sky, but now he's got excuses, got no alibi. He thought the Heat had it, it was a sure bet, but they couldn't handle Boston, not just yet. Peter Bellotti, where you at now? You made a bold choice, but where's your wow? Can't stand the heat in the kitchen. Your predictions cold. You're playing hide and seek, leaving us in the fold. You're playing hide and seek, leaving us in the fold. Roasting Tom Brady, we took it too far. But Maggie don't care, she's a superstar. Said the kids need to learn to laugh at the pain, so we'll keep on joking, no need to explain. We may have crossed the line, but who's to say? Maggie's teaching her children to handle it her way, making light of the struggles, finding joy through the tears. With a sense of humor, they'll conquer their fears. Ha ha ha, let's laugh it off, put a smile on your face. Bogusch waits, he's got the road trip blues left behind, feeling like he's bound to lose. Perloff's off to San Antonio, can't believe his eyes. But Bogusch stuck at home, his heartache amplifies. Betting against Wembyama, Perloff took the fall, but it's Bogusch left behind, feeling 10 feet tall, a loser in his own right. Can't catch a break, road trip dream shattered. For goodness sake, for goodness sake, Bogusch cruising highways, hilarity atop San Antonio shining. The city's calling their names, the Bogusch sitting home, stuck playing life's cool games.
Lost in the waves on the treacherous sea, Andrew Perloff, trying to find his way back home. San Antonio nights, but the stars don't guide. A bet gone wrong, predicting Wembyama's demise.
Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Question out there for you. If you could teleport time travel.
So basically time travel.
Basically time travel. I don't know why Elon Musk put this in a Twitter post. If you could have a teleportation time travel machine, like that would be helpful. Would you rather go forwards or backwards? You could make like money if you want to do the whole sports betting thing, or you want to use this just to enrich yourself like monetarily. You can make money whether you go backwards or into the future.
Right. I mean, you say if. What other purpose is there to a time machine?
Do you want to find out what the future looks like? Just to be, I thought you're such a doomsday person. I thought you might want to know when the machines exactly take over and where your bunker needs to be.
Oh, now you got, but you know, if I could go backwards, I could do all the sports betting and enjoy all the money for all these years and live in a gigantic mansion and all that.
That's true. Let's put that out on the poll, Ryan. If you could do teleportation, would you rather go into the past or into the future? Kevin is in Oregon, has a thought for the show. Hey, Kevin, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
Good. What do you have for us?
Well, I saw the interaction, the rather hostile interaction earlier between Pete and Bogusch, and I thought, how could this be resolved? And I thought, maybe, I mean, tell me what you think of this, maybe they could have a burrito eating contest followed by both of them getting into singlets and having a wrestling match.
Man.
And by the way, overseas, for God's sakes, overseas, that could mean he's on Block Island coaching a, Pop Warner football team.
Tactically, you're right.
Wait a minute. Kevin, thank you. Block Island, Rhode Island?
Thank you for what?
Well, it's a good idea. You and Bogusch eating burritos and then wrestling each other. We thought about you and Peter Schwartz doing this. We ran into some difficulties.
Many.
And just suffice to say.
The legal department
Yeah.
nixed it.
They really threw a lot of cold
I don't
water
know. By
on
the way, the legal department might not love this burrito eating contest. Now, let's be honest. The wrestling thing, that's one thing. But burrito eating contest afterwards would be problematic.
I don't want to be anywhere near that
Could do a
situation.
burrito eating contest. You could do a casual eating contest.
What's that?
Casually eat burritos throughout the whole show.
So just go to lunch.
Oh, no. While we do the show, we casually eat burritos. Captain puts a camera on us, and we see how many burritos we eat.
Well, but here's the thing. The Kobayashi versus Joey Chestnut, which is what led to Kevin was right to describe that as a heated exchange between Bogusch and Bellotti that happened very early on the show. It's all about the time. It's like, how fast can you eat this stuff? It's a competition. It's not a slow play.
No, I think it's a how many, too.
You think it's a how many more than a how
well,
fast?
I think, how many burritos could you eat in an hour instead of, 5 minutes those guys?
Okay.
Yeah, we're not competitive eaters, Bogusch or myself. So I think you get more done that way.
How many burritos can you eat in an hour?
I'll tell you right now, I could do 14 burritos. I could eat burritos till the cows come home.
It depends upon what burrito.
Listen, I'm not trying to call you out. You cannot eat 14 burritos in an hour. Don't lie like that.
I didn't say an hour. Did I say an hour?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I could eat a lot of burritos. The thing about burritos, there's so many carbs in them. They would churn through those.
But it's
real fast.
so much rice and everything.
Well,
you get
they're
so full.
giant, big California burritos. I guess it depends on the size.
You would need to see what type of burrito you're eating.
I think there are a lot of reasons you could eat a lot of burritos. That's a food that you could take down fast.
Now, if you take rice out of them,
then you're more like a taco.
Then you probably could.
If you go to Taco Bell, their burritos are not big.
No.
This kind of reminds me of when you ate the jars of peanut butter. Nobody does this. We don't see a lot of burrito eating contests for this very reason, because it's just so much.
Too much gas.
Even Gas X
bad for
would
the
not.
environment. It's bad for the environment. I'm not sure we ever played. I could definitely 4 cheesesteaks in an hour.
Oh, if you
easy.
You need to do that competition with Zach Gelb.
I think I actually lost a bet. I have to do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want to do that. Cheesesteaks is another food. You can house those. It takes 30 seconds to eat a cheesesteak.
I don't think so, man. I think that's just you.
No.
It's like you're eating a loaf of bread.
You can down so much bread. That's the kind of food that you can eat a lot of. You mentioned you saw Kobayashi eat eggs and milk. That's the kind of thing you have to be slow about. Bread goes down really fast.
All right. I don't know if I agree necessarily, but we did locate the audio and video of Kobayashi coming to the Sports Illustrated offices, and what he did in that office is unholy. We'll play some of that for you in the next hour. We were supposed to do something else there that we didn't do. So we'll get to that next. And also, we're going to bring you the best move a team has made in the NFL offseason. Who made it? What was it?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Celtics on their way to their 18th title. Hey, welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. It was just a performance by the Celtics that was great, Perloff, but it was in jeopardy in the fourth quarter when the Mavericks come all the way back on a 22-2 run after they were down big in the third quarter, and it looked like they had stolen the momentum back from Boston. Hey, maybe we get a series here, and maybe the Mavs are actually going to show up in this series, and then Luka Doncic fouls out. 4 minutes, 12 seconds left to go in the game. Kyrie Irving tried to carry him all the way home, but he couldn't do it, and now this thing is 3-0, and it is curtains.
It's funny. Everyone says the NBA is fixed. The officials help get the big markets in. Our friend Rick Carlisle famously said, you got to give the small markets a chance. The NBA is not fixing this finals because they had some tough calls on the Mavericks last night. And now they're going to have no ratings for Game 4 because there's no drama here. It was so fun to get into it last night when the comeback came. I'm like, finally we have some competition here because it looked like it was on the way to be a very easy Boston win. But I got to tell you, I'm a little disappointed from a competitive standpoint.
Yeah.
3-0, you're right. History says there's no chance at all. And honestly, the Celtics, if they need to, can bring Porzingis back and make it even easier to win this title. It's over. There was a moment last night it felt like, wow, this is going to be a series. There's just not enough talent on Dallas. They just are not a good enough team from top to bottom.
Okay, and that's fine. And we probably knew that even going into the series. But your best player in Luka Doncic had to have an all-time game last night. That was it. Period. And you know what? He didn't. And not only that, he was all the things about Luka that people will point to and say, this is why it's going to be tough for him to win a title, all reared their head last night. Like, you have to play like the finals are on the line because statistically they were. The record is 0-156 for teams who are down 0-3. You are not coming back. You're not that special of a team that you're going to be the ones who are going to defy all these years of NBA history. It's not going to happen. And so Luka had to be his absolute best. And instead, it was all the stuff that people dislike about his game. Not getting other people involved, the constant whining and complaining, and not being efficient, and referees and bad calls, some of them were bad, getting into his head and taking him out of his game. And the champions don't do that. They find a way to rise above. Even if they still complain, they find a way to still play their game.
I didn't feel like he didn't get other people involved last night. You felt like he was more black hole-y yesterday?
I mean, that also...
I don't think that's the case. Like, Kyrie is a black hole.
He is. I think the Celtics have done a good job of cutting off the passing lanes, and Luka doesn't play any defense. And it's been
but he never played defense, and they got to the finals. I mean, he's had a couple steals, but...
See, I don't think that's necessarily true. I think the Mavericks did start to buckle down defensively, and that was one of the big things
by keeping Luka out of the fray.
But that was one of the things that really changed for them after the trade deadline and how they kind of revamped their team is they did become this good defensive team.
Right, because they're big guys, and they have those guys back there, but Boston has 4 all-star guards, so they neutralize all of the things Dallas does well. So why are you blaming? They're just a bad matchup, and there's nobody besides Kyrie and Luka who can do anything here. So how you can put the blame on Luka and not the rest of the roster seems weird to me.
Well, because if the rest of the roster was good enough to get them here, then...
But they're not good enough in this final. They are not stepping up. Luka's stats have been amazing. I mean, I know he shot poorly last night.
Yeah, 27 27 points on 27 shots.
But how do you explain that he's the only plus player? He's +9 for the Mavericks. Even Kyrie, who had a good game, was -3. I just, in his plus minus, when he's on the court, he's still effective. The whole defense still has to watch Luka, and I just think it's on the rest of the team.
Now,
Kyrie and Luka are scoring. There's nothing else.
Now, if you want to just point to the moment in the game when things changed, it was clearly the 6th foul call on Luka. So Luka Doncic in foul trouble. He got 4 fouls called on him in the 4th quarter amidst this Mavericks comeback. Like, they're making the big comeback, an all-time comeback. And the 6th foul was, by the letter of the law, definitely a foul. He was definitely moving his feet. He was trying to draw a charge, didn't get called for the block. He's out with 4:12 left to go in the game. It's a tough call to make at that spot. It is. But that was the moment. Did you think it was the right call?
I mean, technically, yes, it was the right call. I wish they could have just played on, but the problem was Jaylen Brown fell, so you kind of have to call something. Technically, it was a defensive foul, but I think Jaylen Brown did lead with his elbow. It was tough. Yeah, I'm not killing Luka for that. That was one of those things that happened. I think Luka just found himself in an awkward spot. I don't know. Do you think he made a huge mistake by being out there? It wasn't like he's like, oh, I'm gonna go out of my way to try and fight. He's like, oh, this guy's out of control. I'm gonna step in here and get a charge. It's not a bad thought.
It's just the problem is you had just gotten called for your 5th foul 25 seconds earlier or whatever, and now you're playing with 5 fouls, and you've got to understand that you're the most important player on the floor for your team. Yeah. And so all of a sudden now's the time we're going to step in and try to take a charge when you're not Mr. Defense at all. So it's about being smarter.
Yeah, I mean, that I feel like that was a little bit of bad luck.
Or bad refereeing. I don't know. But it was a turning point. It was the moment that changed because Luka, despite all the pointing and screaming and complaining and whining and all of that stuff, I mean, they had definitely changed the momentum. And I don't know if Boston would have just naturally wrestled it back, but they clearly saw an opening when Luka left the floor. I mean, like, again, Kyrie was only going to be able to do so much.
I think the Celtics win the game anyway, because remember, the Celtics hadn't really run their offense for about 10 minutes of game time. They were 1 for 10.
Yeah,
so it wasn't like they were going to go the rest of the game without scoring anything. At the very end, what they did have was the big three by Derek White, big jump shot by Jaylen Brown. They just have I was worried they didn't have closers, and they've had closers. So again, I credit Boston. I think what they learned in Golden State is clearly coming. The loss of Golden State in the 2022 finals is clearly coming to fruition. They didn't seem panicked at all in the last minute.
And they also got the they were the beneficiaries rather of some foul calls going their way. So right after Luka fouls out, then PJ Washington gets called for a moving screen, and then even later on, as Derek White's going for a rebound, like a long rebound. I forgot who it was, like grabbed onto his arm a little bit, and that was another foul.
That was definitely a foul. Like Derek White would have caught the ball if the guy didn't grab him. I thought that they were hammering Jason Tatum and not calling any of that. So it was both teams got some bad calls.
Let's go to the phones, 855-212-4227. The question of the day is on X at Maggie and Pearl, which is, do you blame Luka for the loss last night with the Mavericks? Rich is in Cali. Good morning, Rich.
Morning. How are you this morning?
We're great.
The problem with the Mavericks is a problem with an overachiever. Midnight eventually comes. And I think probably they were maybe the third best team in the West, and they ran into a team that was better. And I don't think it really mattered whether Doncic got a foul or whatever the story was. They were outmatched. Okay? It's just the way it happens sometimes.
So wait, if they're the third best team in the West, why are they there, in your opinion, Rich?
I think they just kind of lucked out in the draw, and the other teams that, names are escaping me right now.
The Nuggets?
Yeah, the Nuggets underachieved.
Yeah.
And they got by them. I think if the Nuggets are playing the Celtics, we're still in the middle of this. We're not burying the Mavericks.
I totally agree. The Nuggets would be a much better matchup for Boston.
Rich, thank you for the call this morning.
Yeah.
You might be right. One of the all-time what-ifs from this season, because, again, like this finals hasn't been, like, super compelling. One of the all-time what-ifs is, or what happens, is how did the Nuggets blow a 20-point lead on their home floor in a Game 7?
To a young team that hadn't been there before, the T-Wolves. Like, why are the T-Wolves showing up for Game 7, not the Nuggets? The Nuggets would have so many more answers for the Celtics. I still think the Celtics might beat them. But then again, the Nuggets would have to get past the Mavs. We're kind of advancing this a little bit. And again, the Mavs were so lucky that they got the Thunder and the T-Wolves both and the T-Wolves ran out of gas against the Mavs. They were wiped. Anthony Edwards had nothing left. Yeah, I kind of agree with that sentiment that Dallas had the right draw.
Yeah, listen, the Celtics were substantial favorites coming into this finals, right? And not overwhelming favorites, but they were substantial favorites.
Yes.
And the money flooded in on Dallas. And I think it was because a couple reasons. One, there still was no belief in Boston. And in the last 2 minutes of the game, if it's between Tatum and Brown or Luka and Kyrie, who would you rather have? And meanwhile, the last 2 minutes of the game, well, they mattered a little bit last night, but Game 1 didn't matter at all. Anyway, I think there was the Celtics history that worked against them. And I think people believed that the West was such a tougher road that it meant the Mavericks, were actually playing better than Boston, because Boston had gotten some breaks with not having to play against teams who had their best players out.
Yeah, teams that aren't even that good anyway. The Pacers, the Cavs, and the Bucks were not world beaters this year.
Miami, yeah.
Not the Bucks. Yeah. I understand that, and listen, it was plus 170 was the Mavs final line. So, and I picked them, and I bet on them. And I'm like, oh, this is a great value. This is going to be a war. I was wrong.
I don't know how you're going to make this money back. We got to figure this out.
It's also not a fluke, honestly. Like, you watch Boston against Dallas. I think they could play 10 games, and Boston's going to win them every time. The matchups are perfect because they have all these perimeter defenders. They don't have to double team Kyrie and Luka every time. Yeah, Kyrie's going to get his, but they are an incredible matchup for this what was supposed to be the greatest scoring backcourt in NBA history. Yeah, until you go into Derek White, Drew Holiday, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown. I mean, you're right. Kyrie got his last night, but the defense is amazing for Boston.
855-212-4227. If you want to weigh in on our question, was Luka at fault, and should he wear the blame for the Mavericks losing last night and ultimately losing the series? Again, 0-156. This is not going to be, this Mavericks team is not going to be the one that makes history and comes back from an 0-3 hole. I feel pretty confident saying that. Meanwhile, on the flip side, Boston, 10 straight wins for the Celtics. They're 7-0 on the road. You know, we had talked about this with Chad Finn from the Boston Globe, this deep dive about this, that the Celtics, by the numbers, are actually like an all-time great team.
Yeah.
And
we tried to talk Chad out of that take.
Meanwhile, we had him on, and it was right when the Dan Hurley news had broken, and so we got very sidetracked with that Dan Hurley Lakers situation, and we never really talked as much about the Celtics, but this is sort of happening in front of our eyes. The Celtics are going to complete this run, and we have to start talking about them as an amazing team.
Did 2 days ago, somebody, it was either one of us or a caller or a guest, said that Dan Hurley should also watch that Boston job because Joe Mazzulla is not the real deal. I didn't say that.
I don't think I did, but yes, the idea that Dan Hurley would not go to the Lakers because why not wait to see if Boston or the New York Knicks job opens up? Right. Meanwhile, this is the most likable Knicks team that has been around in forever.
Yeah, Thibodeau feels safe.
Since the 90s.
But now Mazzulla, not only Mazzulla in 2 days has changed his complete outlook. Now he comes from kind of a weird press conference guy to a X's and O's genius.
Yeah, it would have been like if Nick Sirianni actually won the Super Bowl. You know, like a bad press conference guy, but then you got to respect him if he wins.
But there's a lot of stories I've read. Mazzulla's attention to details is number one. Like he apparently has everything buttoned up. So I think nobody's gained more out of Jason Tatum has not gained that much. It was supposed to be Tatum's legacy series, and he's been kind of a hit or miss.
Yep.
I think Mazzulla has gained the most so far. I feel like people are like, oh, that guy's a good coach.
I think also a renewed appreciation for Drew Holiday.
Yeah. It's so funny. I thought you were going to say Jaylen Brown.
Oh, Jaylen Brown. Yes, definitely Jaylen Brown. He has been dynamite. And I think Jaylen Brown got always a lot of like, oh, he's the 1B, to Tatum.
Definitely.
And then he signed this massive contract. It's like, wow, the 1B is the highest paid player in the NBA.
Yeah, and then Jason Kidd comes out and calls him the greatest player, and we all think it's mind games. I think
Kidd's onto something.
Yeah. Jason Kidd might know what he's talking about.
Yeah, now if he could just make an adjustment. 855-212-4227. No, listen, Kidd tried.
Adjustment, what? Add 2 more players out of nowhere?
He tried everything last night, and Mavericks are down 0-3. 11 different players played in the first half. I mean, they were just like, get in there. Someone hit a shot for the love of God.
Oh, poor Tim Hardaway Jr. I mean, like he's got the money. I think he's 0 for 7 in the series. I feel bad for that guy. Is that weird that I feel bad for him?
Yeah, why would you feel bad for him?
Because to have your coach lose confidence in you, that's something I've been through before. It hurts. And then you get in there and you get your chance. You take a big 3-pointer and it goes in and out. Like that guy can't buy a break with that $200 million he's earned.
Was this the I know, how's he going to sleep at night? Is this what coach got into you? Is this high school or college?
Yeah. Oh my God, my high school coach did not like me, and my confidence just wilted every time. He didn't expect me to be good, and I could play really good when he wasn't there, and then I was terrible when he was there.
Okay, so you went to the same high school as Kobe Bryant. Was this the same coach who coached Kobe?
Then he retired, and this amazing coach came in. I think they hired this guy because they knew Kobe was around. So then Greg Downer, who's still the coach, has won multiple state titles since Kobe left too. He's still there, I believe. He's like one of the great high school coaches in American basketball history. Not so much. And also, listen, I was not good in high school. There's no way he was going to make me into
he was going to turn you into Kobe.
Kobe Bryant was a different thing. I mean, honestly, you could have coached Kobe Bryant in high school. He'd go out there, score 40 points. We're good.
Yeah, 855-212-4227. Okay, so that's what's going on. You can weigh in on the question, do you blame the Mavericks' loss last night on Luka Doncic? I say yes. Perloff says no. You got to blame the rest of the team. We've got so much more for you, including the best move from the NFL offseason. Who's the team that made it, and what does it mean for them this season? That all happens in just a matter of moments. Don't move. It's Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining.
Oh, Maggie Gray on the radio waves, talking sports and scores and the games we crave. But when she's done with touchdowns and three-point shots, she dives into conspiracies and connects the dots. Oh, Maggie Gray, with your wild theories, you make history sound like a daytime series. From grassy knolls to the CIA, what will you dream of today? JFK wasn't just a simple case. I got the scoop right here on my plate. She's got a playbook full of suspects, from mob bosses to alien insects. Oh, Maggie Gray, with your wild theories, you make history sound like a daytime series. From grassy knolls to the CIA, what will you dream of today? Oh, Maggie Gray, with your wild theories, you make his stay plot. Maybe it's something. Believe Bilatti's got something to say. Infinity's mice, he's feeling the dismay. No NBA on NBC, what a shame. Just JJ Redick's wine ain't the same. Peter Bellotti is getting upset. Maggie Perloff, can you hear his plea? Bring back the NBA on NBC. Set his spirit free, he misses Co-stars and the crew, those were the days. Pete cries out boo, boo. Bring it back, oh can't you see? Bring back the NBA on NBC. Let it be. Pete's mad, he's feeling sad. Bring it back, oh make it right.
45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. All right. NFL offseason kind of winding down, which makes me, the offseason is winding down. That means the season's coming. But at least we have mandatory mini camps to fuel the nonstop NFL headline generator.
Thankfully, some people decided to actually show up to those mandatory minicamps, unlike Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. So, but it is a good time to look back at the offseason. I don't want to overrate the offseason moves because come September, we forget most of them. But how are we going to do this exactly, Maggie? We are going to look back at the best offseason move in the entire NFL.
Yeah, the one you think is going to be the most impactful.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We're going to have any music? We're just going to do it.
Brian, what do you think? No? Yes?
Just do it.
Just do it.
Okay, I'm going to go.
Quit stalling.
I'm going to go against some of my own takes here because I've been the anti-pay for a wide receiver guy.
Oh, that's you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that Justin Jefferson's music?
By God.
I don't think the content's going to match this music. I don't think I'm bringing the goods because this sounds like, yeah, let's go. NFL offseason biggest move. And then I'm like, I'm going Keenan Allen. I am going Keenan Allen. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I'm not a big pay wide receiver guy, but is there a more perfect fit for a team than Keenan Allen, the former Chargers wide receiver, going to the Chicago Bears? He is the safety valve because they desperately need Caleb Williams, the number 1 overall pick, to be good. They got rid of Justin Fields, who was starting to win in a real way last year. They got to 7-10 with him. Probably would have been a playoff team with Justin Fields. So you cannot have Caleb Williams be a bust like Bryce Young was last year. So to me, Keenan Allen, the ultimate possession receiver when he's actually healthy. We'll assume he's healthy. I think he is such an important, as I said, safety valve for Chicago. Like, things can't go so bad if he's there because you know he's going to get open for 8 yards on the first down. So to me, that is a huge addition for Chicago.
All right, I just want to. You hated this move when it happened.
Oh, thank God.
I just want to point that out. You hated this move, but that's okay. You've thought about it now, and you're back on the right side.
No. I didn't hate this move. I just didn't like it as much as you guys did.
You did.
Okay.
Wait, why did I hate for Chicago?
Everything that you just said pro Keenan Allen, you said the opposite of when it happened.
I got to get the footage.
Bogusch with the receipts.
But okay. What did I like about it, though? They didn't give up a fourth
Why
round
would
pick.
you pay a wide receiver? You're not going to do anything. They already have 2 other guys for Caleb Williams.
There's also just sort of
my phone to text Maggie like he 100% crushed this when it happened.
There's also just a thought where you believe that any wide receiver over the age of 31 should be taken out to the woodshed.
Right. So I was hearing Keenan Allen the other day. Apparently Keenan Allen hates his contract. He's on the last year. And he's not getting paid a lot. So he's not really a financial problem at all for the Bears.
In a contract year, too. That's a good incentive.
He's got a good incentive. So as it turns out, it's a rental. So maybe I was wrong about that. And I looked at the way the Bears offseason. Apparently, Caleb Williams does not look ideal in camp. That is the word on a lot. He is maybe struggling a little bit. So whatever I thought of Keenan Allen in March, right now they need that dude so bad because it doesn't feel like every team is putting out video of their quarterback just throwing dimes all over the field. Apparently, it's been a lot of mixed messages coming out of Chicago on Caleb Williams. So to me right now, I'm going Keenan Allen, and I am so sorry if I'm going against my own thing, but I'm glad you're keeping track of this, Bogusch.
You did say at the beginning I'm going against one of my own takes here. And Keenan Allen, to back up your point, only 13 games last year, still at over 1,200 yards receiving. Like, the guy is still awesome.
Yeah, by the way, and they have DJ Moore and Odunze too, so this is like they're doing everything to support Caleb Williams because it feels like Jaden Daniels is perfect. It feels like Drake May is the next coming. It feels like... Actually, J.J. McCarthy's not going to play. But right now, to me, the most concerning rookie is Caleb Williams. And I'm sorry, he's the best college player I've ever seen. But I just worry that he's not going to be good. So they need Keenan Allen. I take it back, whatever I said in March. I apologize.
All right. Seamless transition there, Pete. Ryan, that was great.
Now what's the music?
This is like Price is Right type music.
Zydeco or something, right?
Oh, it's the old Pyramid theme.
Oh, it's Pyramid.
Yes.
Was the first one from Double Dribble? It sounded very much like a Super Nintendo game.
Yeah.
No, it said game show music in the folder.
Okay.
Surprised. It seemed more like video game music.
Yeah, right?
Are there actual people on instruments now jamming out, right?
Yeah, they're in the back.
Like, do they make these songs on a computer, or is there like a band? Back in the day, it was like a band.
Oh, yeah, with guys that shouted into the microphone, yeah.
No chance that this is human generated. Why would it be?
I think there's somebody wailing on the sax right now,
I hear
man.
an oboe in the background.
They're all in matching suits.
Yeah, the woodwind section.
Yeah, sure.
There is no way this is human generated.
All right, my most impactful, one of my favorite moves from the NFL offseason, I'm going to stay in the NFC North, and I'm going to give it to the Green Bay Packers. Kind of very seamlessly replaced Aaron Jones is out, and Josh Jacobs is in. And, this is fantastic for them. First of all, Josh Jacobs, I think, is an amazing player, an all-pro player, multiple-time Pro Bowler, both the run game and the pass game. So he's versatile, and he's just an excellent talent. Jordan Love is going to have a lot of pressure on him. We might not talk about him like we do Aaron Rodgers every single day, but he's going to get some love for MVP. People are going to think he's going to leave off right from that NFC divisional game in San Francisco and pick up right there and just be like this next supernova in the league.
Yeah.
What helps quarterbacks who are in those situations? Running backs, especially running backs that you can not only hand the ball off to, but also dump off into the flat. This is a great signing by the Green Bay Packers. Phenomenal, perfect, loved it, love everything about it. Josh Jacobs is 25. Like, this is the part of the young core that grows together. I'm a fan.
Bogusch, is that pass the sniff test there? Did she say the same thing when it happened?
Well, that's a new thought from Maggie.
See, I'm coming up with new stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, you were inspired by the music.
Yeah.
I totally hear what you say, but is it part of you like, man, Aaron Jones was pretty awesome by the end?
Totally.
So I don't know. I'm not sure about the upgrade part. I love Josh Jacobs too, but I worry about what they lost a little bit too. The problem was Jones wasn't healthy. I think you could argue that. Like, you couldn't get enough games out of him.
I love this. I think the Packers are going to have some major expectations, and I think it's going to be a really fun year in that division. You mentioned that J.J. McCarthy might not play. I know Sam Darnold right now is taking like the first team reps or what have you.
Well, they named him. He's a starter coming into camp.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to stick. So
J.J. McCarthy's never thrown a pass. How is he all of a sudden going to learn to play an NFL quarterback?
He's a first-round draft pick, and Justin Jefferson just got paid. So what are we doing wasting time here with Sam Darnold?
Don't ask me. Ask
Kevin O'Connell?
Kevin O'Connell.
They're just doing that thing where they want the rookie to seem like he earned it, and then the team can all rally behind him. And we've seen this 100 times.
But it could be a Kurt Warner where they play him for 8 weeks and then put in the rookie, or my friend Case Keenum. That's happened a couple times. It could be a bridge. Maybe Sam Darnold does the first 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, Sam Darnold and Kurt Warner, not exactly same. Just FYI.
Yeah, but honestly,
even Case has way more success in the league than Sam Darnold.
But Sam Darnold at least got a good arm. I mean, he can. If I'm Justin Jefferson, who knows? Sam Darnold might get it out there better than J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, right into
rookie.
the first row.
Oh my God, you guys hate Sam Darnold.
It's not about hating him. It's just I've watched enough Sam Darnold to know that this is going to be tough.
Sam Darnold had a season with the Jets where he had 20 touchdowns and 13 picks. If you use a Jets calculator, that's like Dan Marino's 48 touchdown season. That's one of the great seasons in the history of the NFL. I don't know what you guys are seeing. Yeah, he was terrible at the end. He was terrible with the Panthers. But what does that mean? Who knows what that means? And, Kyle Shanahan seems to be a fan of Sam Darnold, so that makes me interested.
Yeah, he's such a fan, he's not there anymore. 855-212-4227. He did everything he could to get him out of town. No. Let's get to Bogusch. He's got headlines for us. Hello.
Hello again. Today's poll question was last night's loss Luka Doncic's fault? I voted yes, and I think Kendrick Perkins would as well.
Let's cut the okay? That's all this X's and O's about the cutting and it should have been, this pass should have been made and all this. No. Let's call it spade to spade. Okay, we looking at the Dallas side of things. Kyrie Irving showed up and did what he was supposed to do tonight. Ain't no other way around it. Luka off the game.
And there's more.
It started from the tip, the complaining, every damn possession down, the falling on the floor, right? Not getting back in transition, not making a second effort. He didn't box out. One time he missed the box out on, I believe it was Drew Holiday.
That was all from the Road Trippin' podcast recorded overnight.
Wait, here's the question. You curse once, you just get a bleep. The first thing, he must have had multiple.
That was a lot.
What did he say? That bleep was like, beep.
Yeah, it was extended.
There was also one I just didn't understand. It was a bleep before the word off. That was out of context. I don't even know what the curse word
I can
was.
give you a couple of suggestions that was said there.
Yeah, but I don't know but bleep off the game.
Yeah.
What the bleep. I'm with you.
Oh. I can still give you a couple of suggestions. What they say.
Well,
Just
can we
spell
in the
it.
break? Can we go back to the raw feed?
I don't have the raw feed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Why? Okay. I was trying to think. No, that one doesn't work. That one doesn't work.
How many four-letter
That one
words can we
doesn't
do
work.
here?
Is that one? No.
It's one of
That's
the
your
great
new poll
mysteries of
question.
our time.
Doncic had 27 points on 27 shots before fouling out with 4:12 left in Game 3. His Mavs had cut a 91-70 deficit to 93-92, but they lost 106-99 to fall into an 0-3 hole in the finals. Jason Kidd says the Celtics were definitely targeting Luka on defense.
He is definitely got a bullseye on his chest, and so he's got to be able to guard and understand that we're there to protect him and help him if he does get beat.
Which he did often last night. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum combining for 61 points and 6 threes. Their Celtics have now reeled off 10 straight wins. They are 7-0 on the road this postseason, getting there last night without Kristaps Porzingis and his injured left foot. Game 4 tomorrow night in Dallas. Corey Seager won that epic Bubble World Series with the Dodgers last night, the first time he played at Dodger Stadium since leaving for Texas.
3-2 again. That ball is hit high and deep into right field. Hayward going back, looking up, and it is out of here. Midway up the bleachers in straightaway right. In his first game back at Dodger Stadium as a Dodger opponent, Corey Seager blasts a 3-run home run to put Texas on top, 3-1.
And that 3-run homer was the only Texas offense last night. It was barely enough.
Yates to Hayward. First pitch is a line drive, right center base hit. Leote over to cut it off. It's off of his glove. Rounding third is Smith. He scores. Pajas being waved home. Here comes the throw. Play at the plate. He is out at home plate. And that's how this ball game ends. How about that?
That was the tying run cut down at the plate to end the game. However, Andy Pajas was not being waved home. He ran through a stop sign, and the Dodgers lose to the Rangers 3-2.
Let's see your coaches.
I'm sorry.
We call that the Scheffler.
That's probably obvious, but when you say the epic Dodgers World Series win, that was sarcasm.
That was
right?
sarcasm.
Okay,
Yeah, sorry, I
I just
said that
wanted
one
to make
enough.
sure.
Yeah.
I've never heard you sort of denounce the bubble titles, but that's what that was.
The baseball one is the most flimsy of all of them. I'll defend the NBA bubble for forever. They were locked in there for 3.5 months. Like, that's a real thing. The baseball one is the cheapest of the
They
bunch.
played 50 games.
Yeah.
They didn't even play half the season.
It's worth taking a shot in June 2024 at Corey Seager's bubble title. You're like still on it? Okay.
Just holding on to some serious grudges.
Was it truly like an emotional night? Like, people at Corey Seager's back at Dodger Stadium. Like,
No.
That's right. So the whole thing is weak.
No, it's the franchise that's got more money than God, and they're like, we'll let him go.
Yeah.
Well, one thing about that Dodgers, it did get Kershaw a ring, right?
Yes.
So that to me is like, thank God, because if that guy had retired without a championship, that would have been bad. Or is that totally lame on my part?
No, I'm with you. But are people going to say, it was the bubble ring and not fully count it?
Also, some of Kershaw's failures in big spots in the postseason is part of, he's an all-time amazing pitcher, but he's also had high-profile failures. That's also part of it.
No, but that's why I'm glad he at least got this to put those,
The asterisk ring?
It's better than nothing because he was an all-time postseason failure.
No, I know, but it's essentially nothing because nobody thinks that this ring is on par with anything else that the Dodgers have previously done or anyone else in baseball. It was crazy times. It's not his fault. It's not the same.
I know what you're saying, and I understand it logically. I think legacy-wise, it actually did something for Clayton Kershaw. I really do. I think people are not going to point to him as an all-time postseason failure.
If you weren't alive during that time and you don't remember the context, you probably won't.
Also, Kershaw got a little better as a performer himself. I think he steadied his postseason game.
U.S. men's soccer, a 1-1 draw with Brazil in Orlando in a Copa America warm-up. It's just the second non-loss in 20 all-time meetings with the soccer powerhouse. And the Florida Panthers got to Edmonton yesterday a little later than scheduled because of that prodigious rain in South Florida. Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final is tonight with the Oilers down 2-0. Guys, back to you.
Feels actually kind of significant, that travel delay, because Edmonton had gotten out. Oh, wait, Edmonton got out the day before. So they had like 2 nights of good rest at home. Meanwhile, Florida gets caught up in this epic rainstorm. That looked really bad. And they got in late last night. The game's at 6:40 tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. Oilers went home the next morning.
Right.
And the Panthers stayed behind. And, I mean, this was also kind of forecasted. Like, it was some form of bad storm was coming. I think they got more rain than they were projecting. But still, you'd think they would have not practiced yesterday in Sunrise. Like, get out, fly in the morning and before the storms get any worse.
That's that. You're up 2-0. Like, you're leading in this series.
Yeah.
Nope,
you know?
I don't care then. If they knew the rain was coming and they still didn't decide to get out there early, and if they stayed to get delayed, that's their fault.
I wonder if it's the type of thing where when you live in this type of weather, you always think you'll get through it.
Yeah,
Not like
right.
a hurricane or something. Those you got to take extremely seriously. But like we live in the Northeast. Whenever they're like, you're going to get a lot of snow, better get out. We're like, all right.
And charter
Let's see
flights,
the snow.
And charter flights are different. You get, I think, have different clearance to take off and maybe a little more leeway.
Yeah,
in
you're not
bad
backed
weather.
up on the runway with everyone
Right.
going to Topeka, you know?
It's also, you're in the Stanley Cup Finals. It's not like it's just a regular work day.
That's true. That is true.
Well, I mean, Scotty Scheffler can't even drive to the golf course during the PGA Championship.
That was different circumstances.
That was Louisville.
Oh, okay. But I'm just saying it's not always easy for people to actually get to championship events these days.
That's the point.
I don't know. Clayton Kershaw 4-1 in the 2020 postseason, by the way. That's not bad.
Yeah, because he was at a
2.8.
full tank of gas because they don't how many games did he pitch in the regular season?
Why are you hating on Clayton Kershaw?
I'm
What do you ever
I'm
do
not
to
hating
you?
on Kershaw. I'm
You
hating
sound
on the
like you're hating
title.
All right.
Well, and if you're saying he's a choker, he would choke in the postseason whenever the postseason happens.
Well, it's easier if you only make 5 starts.
Well, now she's saying because he didn't have his legs for the other postseason. So was it because he was choking or because he was tired?
Yes. 855-212-4227. Okay. So much more to do. We did not mention somebody got a new nickname, and it is awful. Can you ever say, like, no, don't call me that. I don't want to be called this. Can you denounce your own nickname? We'll get to that next. Maggie and Perloff, don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Singing sonnets to Tom Brady. Brain. Oh, God is brain. It's on the train. Running through the strategies and games. Peter loves it for each day. Shouts hooray for Levin's brain. In every game while others cheer for strikes and all the fame. Peter's got his notebook out, jotting insights from the game. Look at the play, what a scheme, he'll loudly exclaim. Who needs a homer when you've got Clevy's brain? Oh, Clevy's brain is...
Andrew Bogusch, lost in the fog of golf. Bogusch can't see his way. People hide his voice in his ears. Every day, Tom Brady's glory. It's all too much. Andrew Bogusch needs a break. Bogusch has had enough of Pete. Freedom from Bilotti. That's what Bogusch needs. Pete Bilotti won't leave alone. His voice keeps ringing in his headphones like a drone. Oh, get out of Bogusch's head. Pete Bilotti, can't you see? Bogusch trying to be free in the sea of noise. Let Bogusch find his peace. Oh, get out of Bogusch's head. Pete Bilotti.
2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
behind, feeling like he's bound to lose. Perloff's off to San Antonio, can't believe his eyes. But Bogusch stuck at home, his heartache amplifies. Betting against Wembyama, Perloff took the fall. But it's Bogusch left behind, feeling 10 feet tall. A loser in his own right, can't catch a break. Road trip dreams shattered, for goodness sake. For goodness sake. Bogusch counting the minutes, ticking like a clock. While Perloff's cruising highways, Hilarion talk. San Antonio shining, the city's calling their names. Bogusch sitting home, stuck playing life's cruel games.
Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie Perloff. This is a story, Pearl, that's right up your alley because you know what it's like to have a great nickname.
What do you mean?
Well, you were known as McLovin for many years.
Is that a great nickname? That's debatable.
Oh, it's awesome. It's an all-time nickname.
Yeah, it's not my nickname. It was another guy's nickname. That was the problem the entire time.
Well, it didn't seem like a problem to any of us. On the outside, it was awesome. And so you're still known as McLovin to many people, and I know it's definitely a term of endearment, but you know what it's like to have a great nickname. Imagine, though, what happened or what's happening in Raiders camp ends up happening to you, which is you're a rookie, a heralded rookie, right? First-round draft pick. You get to your new team. You get a nickname for presumably doing everything right, but the nickname itself is just bad. Here is Davante Adams talking about his new nickname for rookie tight end Brock Bowers.
That's BM, man. That's what I call him, BM. That's the businessman. He don't care about nothing else other than just locking in on football, and I can see it in his eyes. I try to tell a joke and get him to laugh. Talking to the rookies, did a little panel with him a couple weeks ago, and I mean, he was sitting there stone-faced, didn't laugh at a thing I said. So I was like, this is BM right here. I told him that yesterday. I gave him his nickname. So I definitely know. I see what he's about, seen the tape. He's a big, strong dude, and he's focused and driven. So the sky's the limit for him.
You're 7 years old, Maggie. Would you just grow up?
No.
Would you grow up? The man is businessman. You're way too excited for this story.
No, there's a million other ways to get that point across than nicknaming him BM. And here's the other part. How about this? Someone crack a smile when Davante Adams is up there trying to make jokes, everybody. He's doing some kind of rookie panel. He's up there working hard, trying to work the room. A couple one-liners, couple zingers. The rookies are supposed to laugh.
I'm not sure I've ever heard Davante Adams say anything funny.
Was that a joke? I thought he was serious.
What?
No. Maggie's saying that he was doing a rookie panel, and I think you're saying that he should have.
Brock Bowers should have been laughing.
Courtesy laugh.
Yes.
The veteran.
No, never.
You don't courtesy laugh? You have
for
to.
For some people, but no.
There's a pecking order in this locker room, and Davante Adams is at the top of it. And right now, Brock Bowers as a rookie is at the very bottom.
Until midway through the season, and then he gets traded.
Yes, I've called the Davante Adams trade so many times. It's like the girl who cried wolf. But Brock Bowers has to courtesy laugh, and maybe if you do, you don't get stuck with the worst nickname of all time, which is BM. That's as bad as it gets. I'd rather be the big dumper than BM. And it stands for businessman. Nobody's going to think it stands for that.
I hear you, but honestly, I also don't think Devontae Adams is a nickname hander-outer. I'm not sure the rest of he calls him that. I don't think the rest of the team necessarily is going along with that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know if this catches on.
Oh, it's going to catch on.
I don't know. Devontae Adams seems like a unique character.
Yeah, they should be laughing at their season last year.
Maybe that was part of the jokes he was cracking. You got to smile. You got to crack a joke. And meanwhile, again, like this, I'd rather be the big dumper. There are some really bad nicknames out there, like Muscle Hamster, and like they're just been really.
Wait, that's the number one best nickname in the history of NFL.
Oh, I didn't like that one.
Muscle Hamster? What
Doug
did you
Martin
not like
didn't
about
like it either. What is it? It doesn't make any sense.
What the dude looks like a muscle hamster.
That's not a thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't exist. It's not a thing.
Wait, I thought everybody liked that nickname. That's like if you look at the list of most popular NFL nicknames, I'm sure that's on there. We definitely have different nicknames. So what nicknames do you love?
Well, like, Dr. Duncanstein, stuff like that. Give me something creative.
From 1979. That's a good one.
Chocolate Thunder, stuff like that. I mean,
also 1982.
Yeah, well, they were giving out better nicknames back then.
They had the Nike posters and the nicknames.
In the chat, youtube.com/Infinity Sportsnet or twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network, Meat saying booger and stink. These are also, we've kind of gotten used to those.
I'll tell you the worst.
BM is the one for Brock Bowers.
You think BM is the worst? I'll tell you what the worst is because it's never used as a positive. Mr. Unlimited for Russell Wilson. That is always, look at Mr. Unlimited.
And that name is so limited.
Well, also, did he give it to himself? That's the other part. So I'm saying Brock Bowers should try to get himself out of this new nickname. Okay. BM stands for businessman, apparently, according to Devontae Adams. A little flimsy. But the cardinal sin is you cannot give yourself your own nickname.
Unlimited.
I'm looking at a list of the best nicknames in the NFL right now, and it's stupid. Sauce Gardner's nickname is not Sauce. That's his name at this point, right?
No, his name's like Ahmad or something.
Right, but that doesn't count as a nickname anymore because he's listed as Sauce Gardner.
Oh, like Kool-Aid McKinstry? Like that kind of?
Yeah. I don't think that's a nickname.
Isn't that actually his name? Kool-Aid McKinstry?
Yeah, I think that is his name.
Oh, really? I thought
no, he has another name. He does have another name. Check that. But Micah Parsons' nickname is 11 from Heaven. Did you guys know that?
No. I hope he didn't give himself that one.
The Cheetah.
The Cheetah, I don't think that's a fine nickname. It's okay.
Yeah, it's JaQuincy McKinstry.
Yeah.
Which is kind of rhymes. Kind of cool.
Dangerous. K1 is Kyler Murray. Mahomeboy, I didn't know that.
Mahomie, I thought it was.
Yeah.
That's both bad. Both of those are terrible.
BM is the worst. You want to be Brock Bowers right now and be BM according to your teammate Devontae Adams?
BM's not that bad.
Ryan.
It's not.
It stands for businessman. There's 100 different ways you can get across that point.
At a certain point, it doesn't matter.
AB, all business.
Well, it's better than calling him BO.
I don't think so.
Oh, he's calling him a businessman. It's not like he's calling him a jerk.
No, he's calling him a bowel movement. I'd rather be BO than BM.
No, thank you for spelling that. I think we understood what you meant.
Just for the people in the back.
But it's very quick. So you say in the locker room, what's up, BM? Like, that's quick. It's off the tongue, easy. And he's going to know who he is. It's not that bad.
I mean, he's got BB sitting right there, Brock Bowers. Or if you want to do Big Man, well, Big Man is also BM. I don't know. There's 100 other things they could have done besides BM, and I think it all is connected. I think Devontae Adams is being slick here. He's upset that Brock Bowers didn't laugh at his jokes when he did the rookie panel. So,
bit speculative there, Mac.
Well, I'm just, connecting dots.
The funny thing, too, the weird thing about Brock Bowers is he looks like a 36-year-old accountant. It's the most bizarre-looking NFL rookie in the history. He looks 10 years older than Devontae Adams himself.
Meanwhile, speaking of the Raiders, while they're at top of the brain, we're talking about this nickname. We asked what's the biggest offseason move that any NFL team made, Pearl. And Evan was in the chat. Was this Evan in the chat? This was someone else in the chat. Can't get to it. P. Maddie said it's obviously the Raiders with Gardner Minshew was the biggest move of the offseason. I don't know about that. We also got Hollywood Brown as also one of the biggest moves of the offseason. See, to me, the Chiefs signing Hollywood Brown, you're just another Chiefs receiver at this point. Kelsey is easily the most important, and then everyone else is just sort of splitting the targets.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, you could argue drafting Xavier Worthy is an even bigger deal than Hollywood Brown. And I was surprised. Did they bring back McCall Hardman last week too? So he's back in the mix. They have 10 of these guys. What about with the Raiders, Christian Wilkins? I would assume that could end up being bigger because he's a real Pro Bowl player where Minshew is I don't know what Minshew is. He's sort of a placeholder.
Yep.
I think most people think that the Raiders are a little bit lost at quarterback. What's the plan? Like, where are you going with Minshew, Aiden, O'Connell?
Well, they may have had 2 seasons back to back where they could have made a move in the first round to try to either trade up or to take a quarterback, and they just didn't do it. I mean, last year they got kind of scooped. 6 quarterbacks went before they drafted.
I wonder if they had penciled in Michael Penix and thought he'd be there. He would have made a lot of sense throwing to Devontae Adams and BM. No, BM would have been there if he had Michael.
Yeah, BM would have been somewhere else.
And by the way, Penix, that's already a problem.
Penix to BM.
There's enough problems with Penix on your roster. Penix. Yeah.
And Penix to BM for 7.
Yeah, I always, if Penix makes the Pro Bowl and he's sitting next to Jalen Hurts, then they go do the jersey back to back. There's just so many options.
855-212-4227. Let's get some of these bad nicknames going because I don't. Ryan, you're very kind. If somebody nicknamed me around the office BM, I would not like it. I'd probably quit and just find another job.
It's not that bad. Overreacting.
Businessman.
No, thanks.
Here comes the
that.
businessman.
I don't want that on my resume. You're also welcome to weigh in on the biggest NFL move from the offseason. Quickly want to update you. Tiger Woods at the U.S. Open is through 4 holes. Perloff, he's a 1 under par, holding tight here as we get off on the majors. The major.
Wow.
Here you go. Tiger Woods, 1 under. He birdied the first hole and has been par ever since.
When do we get excited? That's the question. I mean, I think it's going to be kind of a low score here at Pinehurst. So, yeah, he's got a lot of work left to do, as you would say. Ludwig Oberg, spelled Auberg, number 1 here at -2. He's a hot golfer. Gio down the hall, who hosts Boomer and Gio, huge Ludwig Oberg fan. He's always telling me bet on that guy.
Yet you keep betting on Victor Hovland.
I always do Victor Hovland, Colin Morikawa. I spread it out. I don't know. I used to do Tiger. Like people bet. I bet you Tiger still gets the most money at Vegas. Like people like to put in a little bet on Tiger.
If I were trying to smartly bet Tiger Woods, I'm not betting him to win the tournament, but I'm betting other types of things like top 50 finish or, top 25 if you're feeling frisky, something like that.
Yeah, I wonder what the odds are on that. Because, I mean, listen, as bad as he was this year, he still made the cut at the Masters. I know you did finish last in the entire tournament, but
literally last.
Still made the cut.
Okay, coming up, we've got coaching updates for you on the Lakers. We've got what went wrong for the Mavericks last night and how much is Luka to blame for them basically blowing the series. Get to that next. It's Maggie Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Luka Doncic fouls out with 4 minutes and 12 seconds left to go in the game, and that ended a Mavericks comeback, a crazy Mavericks comeback. They're now down 0-3 to the Celtics, so this series is over. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Literally not over, but no team has come back from an 0-3 hole, and I do not think this Mavericks team, Pearl, is the one that's going to make history. They don't seem like they have the firepower.
Yeah, so let's already start the blame game. Everyone, I think, is going to Luka. Luka complaining, Luka fouling out. I get it, but come on. Who else besides Kyrie stepped up on this team? Like, how are you going to win? You can't win an NBA title with two guys, Maggie. We thought that maybe someone else would step up. I mean, PJ Washington's had moments, and Lively had some moments last night, but this team is just top to bottom not good enough. So don't blame Luka.
Well, I am going to blame Luka because last night was essentially the series. Because of that stat I just gave to you with the 0 for 156, no one comes back from it. So what do you need from your best player? Nothing short of a masterpiece. If you are going to get back in this series and actually make it a thing, he had to be insane. Like, he had to go out of his mind. And instead, we got the worst attributes of a Luka game, which is not efficient, not getting back on defense at all, being hunted on defense, and complaining to the refs to the point where he fouls out of the game. And it was the frustration fouls early. He got 4 fouls in the fourth quarter alone. He fouls out. He only has himself to blame. The call was actually correct. Was it a little borderline? Like,
I mean, you'd prefer not to have to call that in a key moment, but
definitely. But again, like, he was at fault. And so he fouls out and essentially, left Kyrie Irving to try to, finish the job essentially like on his own. I don't want to disparage the other Mavericks, but essentially to finish the job, and he couldn't do it. And so Luka, of course, has to wear this thing. And, hopefully, like, this isn't the last we've seen of him in a finals. I don't think it's going to be. But, man, they're not even close here with the Celtics. They're not.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Who do you think had the better game on the surface last night, Kyrie Irving or Luka Doncic?
Kyrie. Yeah.
But why was Luka a huge +9 and Kyrie a -3? I think as well as Kyrie played offensively, you could just see him take the rest of his team out of the offense. Like, what do we do? It's not like, people are talking about him as an all-time guard. Great guards get everybody involved. And when Kyrie, for him to cook, he needs to dribble like crazy and take the rest of the team out of it. So I don't think that's what the Mavs wanted last night. I don't think it's really what Kyrie wanted. I don't think he wants to score 35 points with 2 assists. I think he wants Luka to be at his top and him be at his top. But just the way they're designed right now, it seems like the perfect mismatch for Boston. Because Boston's got so many guys to cover these guards.
Can we hear a little bit, Pete, from Kyrie Irving, please? Cut 7 on being ready now for Game 4, which is going to be an elimination game.
This is a metaphor here, so just be ready. Just go home, get the ammo ready, get the bazooka, get the 50 cal ready. Get everything ready, because it's when we come into Game 4, we know that we got to shoot our gun. We got to shoot our shots.
I don't know what's left here. Like, where do they think they're getting this other ammo from? If Luka and Kyrie were always going to have to carry the scoring load, like, are you waiting for, like, what, more play out of the front court, more PJ Washington? There's no one coming to save this team.
Yeah, I mean, Jason Kidd is trying.
Everyone on the bench is getting in.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they can't just, like, give these guys little brief spurts. Like, maybe they should have been playing Jaden Hardy all along. Maybe that they've sort of strategized this whole series wrong.
See, I think it's just you're pointing your effort and your ire in the wrong place. If you're looking at the Mavericks and wondering, how come Hardy can't come and save us? How come Tim Hardaway can't come and save us? Like, that is not what this team is about.
Well,
this team is about Luka.
Those guys are pretty open, though.
Fair, but this is about Luka, and it's the bad decisions, inefficient play, and then the bad, I don't say body language, it's like the how demonstrative he is. And again, he's argued with the officials and he's been whiny, and it's gotten him this far.
Yeah, I was going to say he's won plenty of games with that disposition.
Oh, no doubt. However, this was different, because you can whine and you can cry to the officials like we watched Tim Duncan do for so long and other stars, but they never got taken out of their game. And Luka did get taken out of his own. He got taken out of his own game and let the referees and the foul calls get to him. And can't happen in a game this important.
I think that's the main narrative out there, but I think that's not what happened. I think it's honestly the rest of the Mavs are just not good enough, because you could win with that Luka game last night. Even with the missed shots, like, he was still doing enough to keep this. Honestly, if it hadn't fouled out, they probably do win that game.
So you are welcome to weigh in. We've got the question for you on X. Do you blame Luka for last night's loss for the Mavericks? I do have some news for you from Adrian Wojnarowski. Would you like it?
Do we have a Woj bomb sounder here?
This isn't a bomb so much. It's a little firecracker.
Let's hear it.
In fact, actually, this is not good for Woj. JJ Redick will formally interview for the Lakers coaching job this weekend, and a strong performance is expected to move him to the forefront of the franchise's search. So this isn't really a Woj bomb. This is kind of like when the firecracker explodes in your hand. It's not supposed to, because this is Shams' report from 2 weeks ago. Until you got sidetracked with the Dan Hurley news and that whole whirlwind happened, this is exactly what Shams, Woj's main rival, said was going to happen. Put that aside for a second. That's more of a media thing. The JJ Redick now being at the forefront.
Well, just to be clear, Shams did not say that the Lakers would lose interest in J.J. Redick and make a formal 6-year, $70 million offer to another coach and then come back to J.J. Redick.
No, but
that is not at all what Shams said.
No, Shams said they were zeroing in on J.J. Redick to be as the front runner. Then Woj came out and said they'd been targeting Dan Hurley from all along from the beginning.
Right, but
I don't think that was true.
I
think Dan Hurley came in later in this process than Woj made it seem.
Who got the offer so far?
Well, Dan Hurley did get the offer.
Like a significant amount of time before J.J. Redick. So I think Shams was totally wrong about J.J. Redick. And this does not, I mean.
He's not totally wrong. This is right now.
They were clearly, no, because he said they're zeroing in on J.J. Redick on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then Thursday morning.
No, that was like 5 days before the Dan Hurley.
Well, obviously they had not zeroed in on him because they were completely open to several other options.
No. I think that they had zeroed in, and then Dan Hurley became a candidate, and then they made the offer, and then he rejected the offer, and now they're back to square one, which is JJ being the front runner. Yeah. Anyway, we'll get into the weeds on this thing because it's been.
But I mean, here's the thing: JJ will get the job, and everybody will feel like he was a second choice.
You're absolutely right.
And I think
whether he was or not, you're right.
Yeah, I think it's not going to go. I think the Lakers have lost definitely some esteem in sort of NBA circles. I think they're kind of viewed as a franchise, as a medium franchise that doesn't really know what they're doing. And if they go back to J.J. Redick, it's going to be a disappointment.
Definitely. Because you got people's hopes up with Dan Hurley. And you had this Dan Hurley thing really getting pushed hard. Not that you even need to push it that hard. He would have been an interesting candidate. He does have cachet and pedigree as a college coach. He could be looked at as a program builder. He is offensively a genius guy. So, yeah, of course this is going to be a disappointment. And to be honest, Redick is a really smart basketball person, Perloff. He'll tell you that all the time. I don't think he's been super, giving us these brilliant nuggets on the finals, though.
Oh, yeah.
It's more on the podcast.
I think that's hard to say. I don't think there's that much opportunity to speak on these finals. For some reason, I can't quite figure out. Him and Doris just don't seem to get a lot of analysis in there.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. But anyway.
Yeah, it's an odd chemistry. But here's the thing. He's never coached before. And I think you look at it, J.J. Redick gets the job. I mean, I think the debate is not can the Lakers win the titles, do the Lakers make the playoffs?
Yeah, well, that was, quite frankly, a question even going into this year where they barely made the playoffs.
Well,
right?
I think if you have Dan Hurley, then it's a totally different discussion.
Probably right about that. The other question, too, about J.J. Redick, how would he fill the staff out and what's this going to look like? And again, you go back to square one, which is he just going to look like he's there as a mouthpiece for LeBron? And this is actually just LeBron's kind of I don't say puppet, but something like that. And he's just here to execute the will of LeBron James. But to be honest, LeBron's kind of got the whole franchise by the what, because if you're drafting his son, if he's weighing in on personnel decisions, he's got the power anyway. So why pretend like he doesn't?
I wonder if Dan Hurley would have taken the job if they let LeBron walk.
To be honest, fair question. I don't think it was about LeBron.
I do.
I think Dan Hurley was about, this is my read on it. I really think he always did want to go back to UConn. And I think that he saw a situation that he was able to use some leverage and gain some leverage. He never really did that when Kentucky offered him a job in the Final Four. He saw a chance to get some leverage this time around with the Lakers, and he took advantage of that opportunity. And he got exactly what he wanted, which is to go back to college, go for the three-peat, stay at UConn, and if an NBA job opens on the East Coast that he's interested in, take that job.
To me, like I've said before, I think it was a mistake by him not to take the Lakers job. They're one of the marquee franchises. But then you look into why. It's probably the roster. It's probably the roster, and it's probably LeBron, because of the influence he has. If Dan Hurley's coming in, he's going to build the program. And when you don't have that ability, that probably deterred him away from it. I don't think it was the money. I think, the money that was offered, it may not seem like a lot, but it's a pretty good chunk of change to go coach in the NBA.
I think he gets 40% more next offseason.
Really?
I think, I can't believe he'll be the highest paid coach next year. I can't believe they made him the sixth highest paid coach. I think that's unbelievable. Guy just won two. If he wins a third title, he'll be the highest paid coach ever by 15%.
Yeah, maybe, but then it was a wrong pairing because it doesn't feel like the Lakers were willing to do that. The Detroit Pistons will do that. Obviously, the Golden State Warriors, Miami Heat. These are the teams that are paying coaches right now an exorbitant amount of money. Clippers are the same.
I think a lot of teams will line up to pay Dan Hurley next offseason. You say he loves UConn and he wanted more money out of them. I'll bet he comes to the NBA next year.
See, this is the thing. If it was about the money, though, or like if he really wanted the Lakers job, but maybe didn't think the money was right there. If you really want that job, don't you say, like, he's been through this before. He won at UConn and got a pay raise. He wins again, he gets another pay raise. If you really want this job and you think that it's a great opportunity, I think you're willing to, I say air quotes, settle, because he's settling for $70 million, which sounds absurd. But I think you take that offer knowing that the bigger payday's down the road, like forest through the trees here.
Well, no, I honestly, what I really think happens is he finds out, can I be the first three-peat coach? If he three-peats, then he's like, okay, I could go to the NBA, and he gets a giant contract. If he fails to three-peat, then he's finally like, okay, I couldn't do that. I'm going to go to the NBA. And I would think he'll get like 8 years, 140 next year, like probably double what the Lakers offered. And that's not, I mean, listen, Jim Harbaugh did the same thing. He'd been flirting with the NFL, with the NFL, wanted the job, and then boom, wins a title and gets $16 million a year. Hurley's coming to the NBA fast. And I think this Lakers, they just didn't offer him enough, combined with the fact that the roster's not ideal, right? It's not really on the brink of a championship.
I mean, can we also just go back to the main thing? Like, J.J. Redick's going to be the head coach of the Lakers.
That's a big disappointment.
Well, how did you guys already kind of like thought that out in your head? Like that seemed like a thing when Shams said it. I was like, oh, Redick's the coach. Okay, here we go. And then it just changed in a day.
They're the Lakers. You would think that you would have a little more of a wider candidate pool than just J.J. Redick and the UConn head coach.
Yeah, I guess they interviewed some other people, but
I mean, but why are they doing a disservice to themselves and not opening it up? They should open it up. They're the Lakers. I mean, they are one of the most respectful.
Well, the coaches are all gone though. Like, what do you mean open it up?
I think they're having a hard time finding other, even outside the box candidates.
That's hard. That's hard to believe. That really is. There has to. I mean,
who? Coach K? I mean, he's not coming out of retirement for this job.
Look, I would try different things, and I would go down the Coach K route. All he can say is no.
Well, he's apparently consulting behind the scenes. I think that's another part of the reason why J.J. Redick has the job.
Wait,
along with
Coach
LeBron.
K has never coached the NBA at 76 coming in. I mean, that's a little flawed. I know what you mean.
I'm just saying that it should be more than just this list.
But it's
you were not impressed by the list.
I'm not.
There's not a lot of guys out there, though, Pete, when you think about it. I mean, there's not any, like, proven NBA coaches or even Danny Hurley's the best college coach.
We thought Jay Wright, but, I mean, I think it would probably take a lot to pry him away from the East Coast.
They should, because he's a good coach.
I think he doesn't want to coach at all.
That's possible also.
Yeah, is there a former NBA guy? Is there anybody, I mean, there's no NBA title winning guys floating. No, I mean, there's no coach who won an NBA title who's floating out. There's no Phil Jackson for them right now, is there?
This team needs to be rebuilt, whether it be now or in 2 years.
Oh, now you're kidding yourself. You can't rebuild when you have a 40-year-old LeBron.
No, I know. But logistically, if you take the LeBron factor out of it, they need to rebuild. And whether they do it now or they do it in 2 years.
Well, here's the thing. They will trip over themselves to give LeBron whatever money he wants to stay. So that's not what they're thinking. I think they're thinking we've got to maximize the end of LeBron's career. But really, it's LeBron's decision. He could walk away if he wants to.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But I don't think that's going to happen.
He can leave now.
Yeah, he could just walk away. Yeah, he could go join your 76ers or...
he's got a robust movie business. He's not walking away.
Robust. 855-212-4227. Okay, so that's what's going on. You are welcome to weigh in our poll question, which is, do you blame last night's loss on Luka Doncic? Yes or no? That's a Maggie Pearl on X. Also, J.J. Redick, looks like, according to Woj, he is now back in the driver's seat for the Lakers head coaching job. Does the podcast continue?
Oh, God.
Between LeBron and JJ.
If I'm running the Lakers, I say, hell no.
Let's not forget, LeBron, remember on the Cavs, Richard Jefferson and Channing Frye, thank you, had a podcast called Flying Coach. And they used to do the podcast on the Cavs team plane.
That was one of the first popular player podcasts. What happened to that?
Well, I think the team broke up. And LeBron used to come on that pod, and that's where Kyrie Irving first put out his Earth is flat theory.
Oh, wow.
So there is a precedent.
Oh, the memories.
Just keep it going. Podcast on the team playing after a bad loss in Milwaukee on a Tuesday in February. That should be fun.
I don't know how any of these teams allow these players to do these podcasts.
Most of them are retired.
I know, but like active players, LeBron's LeBron, but like
Paul George.
Yeah, I think that's a little disservice to their franchise.
For the most part, they don't really say anything that gets them in trouble, though. You know, Paul George was on the set of ESPN last night.
Yeah, it's a good get for ESPN.
855-212-4227. Okay, coming up. Obviously, we got the sad news yesterday about Jerry West passing away. Jack McCallum, who's a friend of the show, and basically one of the chroniclers of the NBA throughout 40 years, wrote a book basically with Jerry West, knows this man and got unprecedented access to one of the great basketball minds ever. Jack will join us next to share his thoughts on Jerry West. We'll do that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Sad news yesterday. Jerry West, really the, most influential figures in the history of the NBA. No hyperbole. Passed away at 86 years old, and he left his mark on the league in so many ways. And we want to talk with our friend Jack McCallum, formerly of Sports Illustrated, Hall of Fame sports writer Jack McCallum, because he had a unique seat and really got to access to the mind of Jerry West when Jack wrote the book called Golden Days, which kind of follows Jerry West and the thread through the Lakers and basketball all the way to Steph Curry. And Jack is good enough to join us now. Jack, sorry for your loss. I know you and Jerry West were very close. Golden Days is an amazing book. What was Jerry West like in his private moments? You got to spend a lot of time with him.
I think that the word you would use about Jerry was intense. I had a Twitter thread about this yesterday about watching Game 4 of the 2017 finals with him. At that time, he was a consultant with the Warriors. And I think all of us, when we watch games at home, particularly after you've seen 100,000 games like Jerry has, you might kick back, with a beer and couple crackers and some cheese dip and just sort of watch the game a little casually. But Wes is going, what? How can he not go around that screen? How can he? And I had a point when he's going, why are they putting JaVale McGee in the game now? I'm going, Jerry West is analyzing. He was associated with the team at that point. He was a consultant with the Warriors. But the game was out of touch, from the first quarter. It was one of those games when LeBron just killed him. And he's sort of like this very gentlemanly, very, outwardly attractive guy, always looked great. When he walked into a place, everybody kind of went, well, I know that guy. But within his presence, you could see this kind of intensity and what burned within him, even as an older man.
It's interesting, Jack. I noticed in the coverage yesterday, everybody made the point he was a great player and a great executive. And I saw all these highlights. I was like, wow, are we underrating him as a player? Because a lot of, including myself, newer generation NBA fans didn't really see him as a player, and the style was a little different. I've never seen a more effective pump fake than the Jerry West highlights yesterday. Describe him as a player to people who didn't see him play.
Well, two things about him, offensively and defensively. Number one, offensively, when I was doing the book, somebody had done a kind of video stream of Jerry's scoring, not every one of his 26,000 points or whatever it was, but they could find no film when he came off of a screen, got the ball, catch and shoot. Never. None of his points were that way. Dribble, 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 back down, back down, back down, back down, dribble, 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 pump fake, like you said, get the guy up, 3-point play, get to the foul line, make the free throw. Just this will of getting himself to the basket and near the basket or within that kind of 20-foot range, to make the old, he never, he played in non-3-point, land time, and I think he's still the 8th or 9th leading scorer. But the better story I like about him, guys, was defensively, he was so good that I think it was Jack Marin, who was a great Baltimore Bullets, Washington Bullets guard, that Jack Marin said when you came down on a 2-1 break against Jerry, and he's a defender. This was before the age when you pulled up from 30 feet and took a shot. A 2-1 break, you pulled it back out because he was going to mess up the shot. He was going to block it. He was going to knock it out of bounds. He probably wasn't going to take a charge. That sort of wasn't West's thing. But he had this great arm span, as I said, a bigger guy than you thought, and this kind of toughness. So as a two-way guard, I don't know who comes to mind. Walt Frazier. Walt wasn't quite as good as Jerry, although Walt was great with that kind of two-way thing. And when you get into the Oscar Robertson or Jerry debate, hey, you could take either one. But Jerry was clearly a much better defender, not only than Oscar, but of almost any other backcourt person that's ever lived.
We're talking about Jack McCallum, the Hall of Fame sports writer, written so many incredible sports books. One of them is called Golden Days, and that was really so much about Jerry West and his influence on basketball in California from the Lakers, and then even going to the Golden State Warriors of Steph Curry and what we're seeing right now. You know, Jack, I always wonder how Jerry West, how he became such a great executive, you know, and basically architect over the Showtime Lakers and the Kobe Shaq Lakers, brought Memphis Grizzlies to relevance, and then the stamp he even left on the Warriors and even the Clippers later on. Did going to 9 finals, like, do you think that informed him? Because, you know, there's a lot of great players, and not all of them, and not many of them are very good executives. What did Jerry have? And I keep thinking maybe that experience helped shape how he thinks a team should be built.
Sure. And Mitch Kupchak said something interesting. Mitch was his assistant GM in LA for many years. Mitch is probably privy to, I wish Mitch talked more, because Mitch has to have more great Jerry West stories than anybody. But Mitch said that West, the way he was as a player, which, you know, this incredible competitiveness and drive, but as you said, not everybody can, even the great ones sometimes don't do it. But he just looked at certain guys a certain way. And when he made up his mind on them, you weren't changing it. The greatest example, as everybody knows, is Kobe, that he's coming out of high school. At that time, this was pre-LeBron. It was right around when Garnett's coming out. But this idea of a high school kid, you know, coming in and dominating the NBA, no, that was not what everybody was thinking. So Jerry sees something in him. Does he see something of himself? I mean, I just don't know, and I don't know whether Jerry knows himself, but he holds this workout at, I think, Inglewood High School, and he gets Michael Cooper, one of the great defenders from the Lakers. Now, Michael's out of the league, but he's still in great shape. And Kobe, Jerry watches for 10 or 15 minutes, and Kobe just destroys Michael Cooper and goes, "That's it. We're calling off the workout." He goes to Kobe's agent. "Don't let him work out anywhere. We're gonna take him. We're taking Kobe Bryant." The really interesting thing about that deal, I think, guys, is that the person that he used to get Kobe was Vlade Divac, because he got the Hornets to draft Kobe, and then he traded for Divac. 7 years earlier, Divac is a European player in much the same position as Kobe. European players are too soft. We don't know how they can hold up. Vlade's kind of a funny, personable guy. He's not serious enough. Nobody in the Lakers room wanted to take Vlade Divac. West goes, "No, we're taking Vlade Divac." That's it. There's no more discussion. And West told me that his scouts didn't talk to him for 2 weeks after that. So, I don't think he could exactly define him himself. One thing I will say was that surprised me that West said he used to depend a lot on trainers, like college trainers when he was looking at a college guy, because he would say, not whether he's injury prone so much, but how does he bounce back? You're 15 games into a college season, kid had a sprained ankle. How is he bouncing back? And West had this theory that if you couldn't get through a college season, you ain't getting through an NBA season. And he used to look at the injury reports from plucking guys from other teams also. And he thought that kind of durability, which I suppose is another way of saying guts, fortitude, toughness, that was a quality that he valued very, very, very highly.
Jack, I know your answer to this, but can you clear up for anybody who only knows him or knows him primarily through that HBO show, Winning Time, which portrayed him in a certain way? And I know I saw reports that Jerry West clearly didn't like it. That was that anything like the real Jerry West, the character in that HBO show?
Well, and both of you guys, I know, we all know Jeff Pearlman, who wrote the great book that it was based on. Jeff's book was great. So you took this quality of it's not a quality, this characteristic of Jerry as this volcanic temper, which he had, the shivering kind of anger. But the way it was portrayed in the show, I'm going to take a trophy and throw it through the window. I'm going to explode and throw my golf club. That wasn't the way West did it. Jerry West was not a clown. It was not a clownish kind of anger. So you could say, well, we heard that he went off on F-bombs and MF'd everybody and was very angry. Yeah, all that is there's a grain of truth to it. But that's not how he manifested it. West was very much in control. He probably would have been a healthier emotional person had he let some of the stuff out. This stuff just simmered inside of him. So I think the idea of presenting this clownish anger did a great disservice to an otherwise great show. And you will find not just Jerry. I mean, I talked to him 5 minutes after the first episode aired, so I know how he felt about it. But it's kind of what everybody said. And it was a little bit of a shame that people that only knew him a little nominally would get the idea of this is how he acted, but that's not the way Jerry West acted.
Jack, thank you so much for joining us to share memories of Jerry West. Of course, Golden Days is one of your great books. I mean, you have so many of them, but it was great to have you to do this, and thank you again.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate that, Jack. Thank you. Yeah, Jerry West. I mean, the thing is about that portrayal of him in Winning Time.
Yeah.
You watched a lot more of that than I did.
Yeah,
but
I watched the whole thing. Yep.
I did see those scenes where they have him throwing the trophy through the glass window and throwing the golf clubs and stuff. It's just that it's like you have this mountain of evidence of that wasn't him. Because if you were that kind of person and blew up that kind of way, how are you getting hired all these different times? And how do you maintain for 60 years in the league, if you're flying off the handle left and right?
Well, I also thought the show didn't portray him as smart, which is there's so much evidence to the contrary.
Right.
It's like he kind of was flying blind. Maybe at that point of the Lakers franchise, he wasn't empowered to choose the players or something. I mean, there was a lot of chaos around then. Yeah, it wasn't really fair. I mean, the show was still super fun, and you're right. And the show, to its credit, did say this is a dramatization of what actually happened. They just flat out made up storylines.
Yep.
So that was, I like that Jack said they took a grain of truth and made it dramatic. So that's what TV shows do. I know we talked about this too. It was neat to see, not neat, but Dan Patrick react too. Because Dan grew up how you're a LeBron person?
Sure.
Dan was a Jerry West person.
Yep.
And Jerry came on many, many times. One time they surprised Dan with a birthday cake, and Dan goes, "Why is that birthday cake delivery guy so tall?" Then he looked up and saw it was Jerry West's face. So he was also super nice. So I don't really get this angry thing, but I guess different situations.
Yeah, I did see that yesterday. I mean, you've told me before many times about how Jerry West became like a friend of the show, and
he's on all the time.
And he and Dan and Dan doing such great interviews with Jerry as he does with everyone. But yesterday, watching Dan Patrick get emotional about it.
I knew
tying
that
it up with his father too, and saying like this reminded him of his dad. I mean, a very touching moment.
Yeah. Also, he worshipped him as a player. Apparently, Jerry West could ball. That's the thing. Like, forget the executive. That guy could shoot. Like, and Dan is a shooter, so he loved that.
Do you remember when after J.J. Redick, who's been in the news a lot lately?
Yeah, I saw that clip.
He said firemen and plumbers. Back in Jerry West day, and Jerry West went on Sirius XM NBA radio and just torched Redick.
Yeah.
Basically said he didn't matter in the history of the league, which is
what did this
amazing.
guy do? He scored 12 points a game. That's not bad.
Cutting though. Oh man. Thanks to Jack McCallum. Again, his book Golden Days, if you're looking for more on Jerry West, it's really great. Along with Dream Team and 7 Seconds or Less and all of Jack's other great books. And his new book too about the real Hoosiers, which is cool. Bogusch is here with headlines. Hi.
Hi again, guys. The Celtics might have clinched the NBA title in the third quarter of Game 3 in Dallas last night.
Jaylen Brown, 13 points in the quarter. Switches to the left hand. Jaylen drives right down the middle. Flies over Green. Throws it down with the right hand and puts a signature punctuation mark on a dominant third quarter.
Sean Grande, Cedric Maxwell, Celtics radio. Brown scored 15 of his 30 in that third as Boston outscored Dallas 35-19. Their lead grew to 21 early in the fourth, but was cut to 1 before a 106-99 win and a 3-0 series lead. Nothing an NBA team has ever blown before in terms of a series lead. Brown and company have 4 tries now for 1 win for their 18th all-time title.
Comfort kind of sets into your mind. You kind of like relax. Your brain kind of wants to go at ease, and you got to fight that. You got to fight that temptation to fall into that because there's still time left to be played, and the other team is still competing.
Kyrie competed last night, scoring 35. Luka competed and complained and committed 6 fouls, DQ'd with 4:12 to go. The Celtics can get the sweep on Friday night. As Maggie has already mentioned, ESPN now says J.J. Redick will have his first formal interview for the Laker job this weekend, and he'd become the leading candidate with a, quote, strong performance. Over 60,000 people spent 3 hours in Foxborough last night not making lewd jokes about Tom Brady and his divorce. Brady inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame, with Robert Kraft adding that Brady's number 12 will be retired and a 12-foot statue of him will be built outside the stadium. In Baltimore, minicamp is now over. Training camp is more than a month away. This would be the time for Lamar Jackson to host his receivers for extra work, but
I would love to do that, but some guys don't want to leave their state. They're going to have to come to South Florida. They're going to have to do it. We got to. We're trying to get to that Super Bowl, man. And for us to do that, we got to grind. We got to build chemistry.
So Lamar wants to have one of these sessions, but he can't get anybody to join him.
Yeah, because going to Florida is such a burden.
Well, in June, it's awfully hot, though.
It's
true.
Yeah. Can they
But
just
wait,
pick a place, get an Airbnb somewhere?
Okay, I misunderstood this quote. I thought, because Lamar missed the other minicamp and got fined, right?
He skipped OTAs, which prevented him from getting a workout bonus.
Oh, okay, right. Oh, he didn't get fined. He missed a bonus. My bad.
$750,000 that he never had anyway.
I thought he was saying, why do I have to go to practice? The team should come down to me in South Florida. Admit, I misread that one a little bit.
Well, but he is kind of saying that. He's like, guys will leave their state. Maybe not to come to Florida, but to go anywhere, right?
But it's June 13th, and they're all in a month and a week getting together at training camp. He really, in this 5-week period, he's not going to let his teammates have vacation? I think that's a big ask. Nobody works out this time, do they?
Yeah, I mean, the Giants were just discussing it the other day that Daniel Jones, who isn't doing full team stuff yet coming off a torn ACL, is going to have a little thing like this with his receivers.
Oh, before training camp?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think now the
I thought that was
is,
earlier in the offseason that they all flew around.
No,
and did
I think
that stuff.
now is guys are actually in season mode. Like, they're not on vacation anymore. They're not just showing up for OTAs. Like, now they're in actual prep mode. So like, they're focused on the season. So this is the time to do something before training camp.
I also thought now they have more of the playbook. So it's like, all right, we just went through some mandatory minicamp together. We've kind of got more of our marching orders from the team. So let's go work on it.
I feel like summer camp. It's like a weekend. The other
last time they get golf
in.
Like, by the way, and probably it is. Well, yeah, but you really can't play as much during the season. So I think these guys are going to quote unquote work out. That means golf. and barbecue.
Did you see Sean Payton? So they had 1 day of mandatory minicamp, and then he let everybody go for the other practice.
Yeah.
And I was like, did anyone else think? I was like, Sean Payton wants to get some golf in.
Oh, definitely. No. I was surprised nobody jumped on that Sean Payton said Zach Wilson could be the starter.
Yeah.
Nobody believes that.
I believe it because it's Jared Stidham and a rookie. That's why I believe it.
I don't know. Like, Sean, exactly.
Yeah, but Bo Nix is 30.
Yeah.
What are you waiting for? Or thereabouts.
I remember when Bo Nix was a junior and he played against a freshman Jared Stidham.
Back in 2010?
He was Randy Moss's
Actually, I guess
college
Bo
quarterback.
Nix came in right after Stidham at Auburn. That actually must have been the case. That's crazy.
There is golf this morning, early stages, round 1, the U.S. Open at Pinehurst. Logan McAllister has the solo lead. He is 2 under through 10 holes. There are then 12 golfers at 1 under par, including Brooks Koepka, Colin Morikawa, and Sergio Garcia, but no longer Tiger Woods. His day began with a birdie, a string of pars, but then he just bogeyed what is his 7th hole, number 16, on the course. Where am I? Oh, the Yankees roughed up the switching screens. Got me. The Yankees roughed up the Royals again last night, 11-5. They've taken the first 3 games of this 4-game set by a combined score of 25-8. They've won 12 of 15 overall. Christian Pulisic equalized in the 26th minute. U.S. men's soccer playing to a 1-1 draw with Brazil in Orlando in its final match before Copa America. That event begins on the 23rd against Bolivia. And the Connecticut Sun were 82-75 winners in Chicago last night. Alyssa Thomas, 20 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 6 steals. Guys, please take it away from me.
Did you just have a stroke?
I mean, I just got lost switching between a U.S. Open leaderboard, doing math in my head, and then trying to find where I was supposed to be back in my script in a completely other screen.
Bogusch.
Yeah, I don't work hard, but
nailed it, pal.
So smooth.
Coming up,
I'm done with pants. Right?
Done with pants. The rivalry, one of the great rivalries of our time, is going to get a new chapter. What are we talking about? We'll fill in the details next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The show is divided on this thing. I don't think we've ever disagreed about anything more. I mean, like all of us here as a show, which is what is going to become one of the great sports spectacles of our time, one of the great rivalries that we have in sports right now, which is, no, not Caitlin Clark versus everyone. Kobayashi versus Joey Chestnut. Netflix is going to have a one-on-one battle Labor Day. Who reigns supreme as far as the hot dog eating king?
So I'll tell you my reason that I'm not as excited as you.
Yeah.
When Tiger and Phil were in their rivalry, occasionally they would pull them out individually into a made-for-TV match. It's not the same, a one-on-one. It's something like a hot dog eating contest. You have to beat the field to really blow me away.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Do you know anyone else who does this for a living? Who are these? Are just the non-anonymous people.
Is there
the runners-up?
Wasn't there a third guy who tried to get into that mix? Who's
Matt
the third?
Stoney.
Yes.
He won 1 year.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, they got rid of him real
He's
quick.
no, he's on YouTube now.
Oh, wow.
He's doing like eating everything off the menu challenges.
Glad he landed on his feet.
Takes a menu like Cheesecake Factory and eats the whole thing at once?
Like he orders everything from a single place. So it'll be like McDonald's or like Taco Bell, and he eats the entire menu in one sitting.
Honestly, it's a great idea for a YouTube channel.
That doesn't sound that hard for a professional eater. I think I could do that.
Well, you said the Cheesecake Factory menu. That thing is like 25 pages long.
That would be the ultimate. I mean, that's like Guinness Book of World Records.
It's like meeting Mike Tyson
or
at the
it's
end
like
of
one of
Punch
those
Out.
New York City diners where they like, it's like, I'll have a turkey sandwich or the lobster for $36. Yeah.
Yeah, everything's on the menu. That's interesting. Okay, so it's Kobayashi, and it's going to be Joey Chestnut. Pete has no time for this, hates it. I'm going to watch it, man. I'm going to watch it. I might bet on it. I'm into it. Labor Day weekend, why not?
Can you put a full bet on that? Because I don't know. I feel like we talk about gambling and hot dog eating. There's a lot of chances for corruption.
You could probably bet the over or under.
Listen, whatever they got, I'm going to do. But I was telling you guys before that I've gotten a chance to meet both of these guys, Kobayashi and Chestnut, perk of the job. And Kobayashi came to Sports Illustrated many years ago, Pearl, where you and I both used to work, and he came in and just like took on food challenges for The Office, like as a sideshow kind of. And we filmed it. Andrew Kaplan found this video in like 30 seconds. So he did 2 challenges when he was there, and you're going to hear me. I do a countdown to Kobayashi doing a challenge of how many hard-boiled eggs could he eat in a minute. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. You ate 32 eggs, Kobayashi. That's the most you've ever eaten in 1 minute?
Well, he's never done it before, so far, yes.
Never done it before. Comes into the office, puts down 32 hard-boiled eggs in a minute.
Wow. Was it gross? Cool? What was the experience like?
Oh, all this stuff is gross. And then you heard his translator there. The other challenge he did, he took on someone in the office, Chris Chesnut, back in the day, and Kobayashi drank a gallon of milk in 19 seconds.
Oh, God.
And then you just see in the video, and we have it right now up on our youtube.com/InfinitySportsNet. He drinks the gallon of milk, puts down the whole thing in 19 seconds, and then you just see his stomach. He lifts up his shirt after, and he looks like he's 8.5 months pregnant. It's a milk baby.
But he's really skinny in real life, right?
Definitely. And in shape, like really ripped.
That is nasty.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
19 seconds, a gallon of milk. How?
I don't know. I thought you could die if you drink it. Isn't that the old wives' tale? If you drink a gallon of milk, you'd die?
Well, it didn't happen. Kobayashi is not human.
I watched Baylands Booker drink an entire box of Joe hot.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, but that's a work, isn't it?
I was right there when it happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no.
Wait, who
I'm
drank
never sure with wrestling.
Badlands Booker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, another competitive eater.
Sorry. I thought he was a wrestler.
No, it could be. He was on the on the DA show, and he came to the Bob's Bar show, and he drank an entire box of Joe.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He also holds the most burritos eaten in 8 minutes. 15.
Wow, so someone is out there doing the burrito thing.
Yes. Wait. Sorry, what's Joe? You mean coffee?
Coffee.
Oh.
Like the box of Joe from Dunkin' Donuts?
Oh, the
That.
box of Joe. Okay, got it. I didn't know if we're doing it like...
That's like swallowing fire.
Yeah.
There's got to be some kind of trick to that.
I have a problem just having a little tea here that's hot. He drank the whole box.
Yeah, right. What were you saying?
And he won the lemonade chugging challenge last year at the Nathan's event.
Yeah, that's a high degree of difficulty on both of these things.
Wow.
Both coffee and lemonade, they don't go down like that. You know?
I think I could be a competitive eater. I'm just seeing what these guys are doing. Like, what's so hard about drinking lemonade?
A gallon of lemonade in like 30 seconds to a minute?
It's a lot, dude.
It's just like, but lemonade is pleasant to drink in high quantities.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of sour, kind of scratches your throat a little bit. That's
You
very
are not cut out to be
dangerous,
a competitive eater.
No, we know that. Thank you, Ryan Botcher. Great job these last 3 days. Thank you so much to Pete Pilati, of course, Andrew Bogusch, Andrew Kaplan, the Weedos, the coffee drinkers. You guys are awesome. Thank you to Jack McCallum for joining us, the Hall of Fame sports writer, for sharing his memories of the late Jerry West. We're back tomorrow to finish out the week strong.